We will work quickly and tirelessly to get you the max.
It's time to wake up. Kincade and Salciunas is on the air. Broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studios. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas.
97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I just realized something that sucks. We don't have any football today because it's the playoffs. There's no Thursday night football in the NFL,
well,
Johnny.
There's the college football playoff if you're so entertained.
Well, of course, that's true.
You watch a little of that. We got Flyers hockey tonight.
Damn right we do. It's just the calendar is completely shifted. The NFL regular season is over.
Yes.
The playoffs begin on Saturday. Eagles play their first round matchup against the 49ers this Sunday at 4:30. And, you know, this is like that time of the year where you're so excited for the playoffs, and then you also realize, oh, no, it's almost done. That sucks.
Leafs are in tonight, so that's always good. Little spirited matchup there. Pretty good team coming in.
Yeah.
And you got a next 3 games at home for the Flyboys.
I just get sad when football season's coming to an end. That's all. Even though it's the league.
I don't necessarily think it's coming to end. I think it's just beginning. This is January. We got a little while yet. We got plenty of games.
We got a month. And hopefully the Eagles play in every game during this span of the month. All right, I want to start the show off, Johnny, with what I believe may be a totally unfair statement.
Not the first time you've started a show with that.
A statement that I think a lot of you will agree with, and a statement that I do believe is possible. Before anybody thinks this is like some negative attacking statement, it's something that I think is unfair.
You think it's unfair?
But I think it's necessary, and I think it's possible.
So it's an unfair statement that you think is necessary to be said?
Yes.
Okay. This is interesting. This is why we do not do the show before the show with each other here. So go on.
For the Philadelphia Eagles to make noise in the playoffs, and that's not a one and done, right? Or just winning one game and then losing in the divisional round of the playoffs. For the Eagles to make noise in the playoffs.
By the way, one and done, I can we just say one thing real quick, is one and done, the expression is being misused by a lot of people. One and done means you win one and you're out. A lot of people keep saying one and done. No, but a lot of people keep saying one and done as means that they go. One and done means usually win one and you're out. There's been a lot of people saying that, they're going to be one and done, they're out. Just to say, do you think they're winning this weekend or not?
All right.
Get it right.
However you want to say it.
There you go.
However you want to say it. Anyways.
Go on.
For the Eagles to go on some sort of playoff run, however you want to say it, Jalen Hurts is going to have to be Superman. And here's why. I'm not just like saying it like, Jalen Hurts, he's got to put the team on his back. He's got to be Superman. This offense has stunk all season long, or the majority of the season, right? Like, we've done the math. There's been like 5 games where you have felt comfortable about the Philadelphia Eagles offense, where we came in here the Monday after and we said, it was a good day for the offense.
Out of the 17, we probably say 5, yeah.
And some of those games were like just a half, right? Like Tampa and L.A. We felt great about the Eagles' second half offense against the L.A. Rams. We felt great about the first half offense against the Buccaneers, but not all 4 quarters. But at least, hey, they put up 30 points. We were celebrating the fact that the Eagles' offense showed life in those 2 games against 2 good teams, in the Rams and at the time the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because that's before all the wheels fell off. But the offense has struggled all year. And do we all come to an agreement that maybe the number one culprit is Kevin Patullo, correct? Yeah,
just maybe.
Are we still arguing
Okay.
that?
No. What I can tell you that our peers in the afternoon are.
Okay.
Because yesterday I heard it all afternoon on Unfiltered. It was like the Kevin Patullo apology show.
We're still
least-
defending him.
I couldn't believe it.
Okay.
I was like, Kevin Patullo's not, Kevin Patullo's getting, the players aren't getting enough of the blame. Kevin Patullo is an incompetent offensive coordinator. Any competent offensive coordinator would be averaging 27, 28 points with this offense.
Yeah, that's how I view it. Now,
I think most experts do too.
The offensive line has had their share of issues, and you can't blame Patullo for health, right? Like, you can't. And
No.
so that's an unfortunate – if you are looking to defend Kevin Patullo in any way, not that this show clearly does that,
No.
like ever, I could see the offensive line being banged up as a sort of an area where you can go, this is not Kevin Patullo's fault. We all agree there. But Kevin Patullo still the number one culprit as to why this Eagles offense is having the issues that they have had all season long. The players have talked about not getting the plays called in on time. They're rushing to the line of scrimmage. It's not giving Jalen Hurts enough time to read the defense. There's been a lot of stuff said by players publicly. Like, this isn't whispered down the lane. This isn't Tim McManus's reporting. This is players straight up on radio shows or interviews saying, yeah, we haven't gotten the play calls in on time quick enough for Jalen to be able to read the defense.
Correct.
Jalen Hurts is going to have to run the football more in the playoffs. And you know what defenses are still going to do, like they have done all season long. They're going to see number 26 in the backfield and say, we are going to do whatever we can to take that away. We might need to see Jalen Hurts put together the effort that we saw against the Minnesota Vikings this year. What was the big thing against the Vikings that we talked about the following week? Broken down plays. What you had it at one point, like 80% of the yards in that game came from broken down
And that
plays.
is the game that I heard people yesterday praising. Well, that Minnesota game, that's the game the offense really worked. That is complete revisionist history. That is a game where broken plays created most of the offense. It was a game where mistakes created the offense.
Yeah.
It wasn't great play design creating the offense. It was where Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, they were like, that wasn't even in the playbook.
Yeah, no.
We just improvised something.
Yeah, Saquon said that walking off the field. It was literally mic'd up. Like, he said it. Like, that wasn't even in the playbook. They
Correct.
made a decision at the line of scrimmage, right? So,
Yes.
so I'm tired of trying to give Patullo
Yes.
the nod for the Vikings
The
game.
Minnesota game seems to be one people keep going, well, the Minnesota game, that offense was great. No, it wasn't.
So the reason
Was it?
why the statement that Jalen Hurts needs to be Superman in the playoffs is unfair is because it is unfair that he's going to have to overcome the ineptitude of his offensive coordinator. Like, that is unfair. He didn't pick the offensive coordinator. His head coach did. Nick Sirianni picked Kevin Patullo because they go way back. They go back to the Chargers days, even before they went together to Indianapolis. They were together on the Chargers coaching staff. So Sirianni picked his guy, Kevin Patullo, to be the offensive coordinator. So Jalen Hurts, it's unfair that he has to overcome the ineptitude of the offensive coordinator. The reason why I say it's necessary, though, is because he is the franchise quarterback of the football team. When all is said and done, win or lose, where do we look first? We look at the quarterback. That's just the way the sport goes. That could be unfair within its own right, but that's what we do.
Absolutely.
Did the quarterback play well in the game, yes or no? Jalen Hurts, as much as I blame Kevin Patullo this year, Jalen Hurts hasn't been himself. He has not been the same Jalen Hurts that we have seen in recent years.
No, he hasn't. But who on offense has?
No, nobody.
Nobody has.
Nobody has.
When you got a crappy plan, when the general gives the troops a bad battle plan,
Sure.
a lot of dead bodies are coming home, and usually the general's getting replaced. That's what happens. They're not put in good positions to succeed.
Now, lastly, the reason why I say it's possible. We've seen it. I have seen Jalen Hurts in the biggest games of his career play arguably the best games of his career. Super Bowl 57, the NFC Championship game this past year, Super Bowl 59.
3 biggest games of his career, the 3 best performances you've ever seen from Jalen
Yeah.
Hurts. There's no argument about that.
And I know coaching staffs are different and players were different. Players were younger. Offensive line was younger. Offensive line was healthier. But regardless, we talked about Jalen Hurts putting the team on his back. Jalen Hurts won the Super Bowl MVP, for crying out loud, right? So even though it might be unfair to say Jalen's got to be his best and he's got to be Superman for 3 weeks, if we're talking about getting back to a Super Bowl, it might be unfair. I don't think defenses are going to say, well, we don't want Jalen to beat us. We can't let Saquon beat us. That's going to be, I imagine, the number one agenda for any defense that they play, to take away the ground game and try to let Jalen Hurts beat them. I've seen him do it in the playoffs, and that's why point number 3 to saying he's got to play Superman is that it's possible.
Okay. Can I tell you that I think half your premise is really, really smart?
Well,
and
there's 3, so that would not make sense.
No. The concept of your premise is half of it's smart and half of it I completely disagree.
All right, what do you got?
I absolutely agree with you. Is that I totally am comfortable when I put my head in the pillow Saturday night. I am not worried about Jalen Hurts coming out and pooping his pants on Sunday afternoon.
Moment being too big for him. No, that doesn't exist. It's not human.
Jalen deserves that level of respect.
Absolutely.
But my part of the premise that I don't is that where you very much started with is that the Eagles need, and I wrote it down, you said need Jalen Hurts to be Superman. No, they don't. The 49ers defense? No, they don't. The Rams defense? No, they don't. There's a lot of teams they can play in this postseason. They absolutely do not need Jalen Hurts to be Superman.
Now let me also just make this Superman. I'm not saying like 350 yards.
No,
I'm
they
just
need
saying,
Jalen
like,
Hurts.
He's got to play. Like, you got to say
they need
Monday morning. Man, Jalen played great.
No, I think they need Jalen Hurts to play well. They need Jalen Hurts to play no less than good. And you can beat the 49ers defense, the Rams defense, and many defenses that are in this.
I will say, hasn't that been his season though? His season's kind of been like good.
Yeah, but the thing is though, that's been good enough to against most of these teams. It's been good enough. And by the way, the best teams that they've played for the most part, they've beaten. So he can be good. I don't think with the defenses that they're facing, the one that I'd worry about is Seattle. I don't think you're going to Seattle without Jalen being Superman and winning. That defense.
Okay.
Playing the 49ers at home, I think Jalen just needs to be. Who's a crappy superhero? Like Aquaman?
I think
Green Lantern.
I think Ant-Man.
Green Lantern?
Ant-Man makes no sense. I would just squish him.
Yeah, something like that.
His strength double, whatever.
There's Superman. There's certain superheroes. He could be one of the crappy superheroes.
I can't celebrate an ant. I think that's stupid.
He could be really big too.
He could be one of those superheroes. At that point, you don't need Superman or Batman to beat the 49ers.
You're saying he could be Robin.
Yeah, Robin sort of always. I think Robin
clung.
I think Robin got in the way of Batman far too often. I think Batman was having to rescue Robin a lot. To me, Jalen Hurts can be just good and get by some of these teams because the defense is super. The defense is Superman. This defense can absolutely, there's enough teams in this playoff field, especially on the NFC side. The defense, I believe, could win them the game themselves. Where the offense, I know the offense will do enough to be able to win. The offense will give them enough because I don't see many of these offenses against this Eagles defense that really scare me. Okay. So that's where I'm at as far as I don't believe Jalen has to put on the cape this weekend for the Eagles to advance. I just believe Jalen has to be, again, if we come in Monday morning and Jalen has not turned if the Eagles offense has not turned the ball over.
No, that's what Nick wants.
He has not turned the ball over. I don't believe the Eagles will have lost the game.
So are you saying a stat line of 13 of 21, 131 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks?
Absolutely, the Eagles have won, and we're getting ready for next week.
That is what Jalen Hurts did last year against the Green Bay Packers in the first round of the playoffs.
And I have no problem with saying that is, I'm giving you the one stat line. You tell me the Eagles have no turnovers on offense. You give me something like Jalen, what do you say, 135 yards or whatever?
131 yards.
Okay. A couple of touchdowns, and one could be rushing, one could be passing. The Eagles are going the next round.
Here's the major difference, and it's the difference that I've been talking about since the first week of November, which is when I sort of lost all faith for the Eagles, right? Saquon Barkley had 25 carries for 119 yards that game.
He did.
I don't see a ground game yet, and it's January 8th, so I'm not really expecting a ground game. We talk about the 5 good games for the Eagles offense this year. kind of like the 5 good games Saquon Barkley has had this year. If Saquon is not going, and which is why when I first went through my diatribe about Jalen Hurts being Superman, I don't see defenses letting up on Saquon Barkley.
Well,
I still
why
think
would they, right?
Robert Saleh all week long has been probably studying film, and the majority of time he's spent studying film has been what have they done to try to get Saquon Barkley going, and what have the majority of defenses done this year to keep him from going. I still imagine that the 49ers, Rams, if they did end up playing the Packers in the first round, Seahawks, whoever they play in the NFC playoff field, their number one task defensively is still going to be taking away Saquon Barkley. And this year, it's been able to be done. Last year, you couldn't do it. You could do whatever you want, stack the box all you want, up until the Super Bowl, when you saw the Chiefs actually come up with a game plan that slowed down Saquon Barkley. There was not a single you knew what the Eagles were doing last year, and they were still running 150, 200 yards a game with one guy. I've not seen that this year. And so if I think the 49ers defense will do whatever they can to stop Saquon Barkley, I don't think 131 yards passing is going to be enough, because I don't see the 120 rushing yards that we have seen. Well, unless Jalen starts running more.
Well, here's where it's interesting is that everybody is, and it may play to your point, is everybody against the 49ers throws the ball all over the field.
Yes.
And
because they can.
Like yesterday, I did San Francisco radio yesterday afternoon, and they were like, I said, well, your rushing defense numbers look good. What do they mean? And they were like, don't buy the rushing defense numbers, because everybody just passes against us. It's that everybody just passes against the defense, because people pass like two times plus against the 49ers because they can throw the ball all over with all the injuries that they've had. They're not saying that their defense sucks. They're just saying our defense is so banged up, people just throw on us all day long.
I mean, Kaiser White just got picked up off the street to play linebacker for them.
So it plays to your point that we should expect more out of this passing offense. We should expect more out of that. But they're very worried about Saquon Barkley because they think Saquon – They said anybody who gets past the first level of this defense is getting 6, 8, 10
Problem
yards.
has been getting past the first level of the defense. Saquon Barkley's getting hit 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
And that's what I told them. They were like, you sound a little negative. And I said, I'm not trying to be negative on my own team, but I said it's the truth.
So our question for you at 610-632-0975 to start the show today. How much are you putting on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, not just this upcoming Sunday, but for the entire playoff run? The unfair statement potentially of him needing to be Superman, but the reason being is because Kevin Patullo, I believe, has been such an issue with this offense, which is why it's been held back a lot. Also, the offensive line being banged up, so the ground game's not been there, so Jalen Hurts is going to have to uplift his play to get over that. And again, I think it's possible. We've seen it, right? Like, I'm not making anything up. This isn't a quarterback going into the playoffs for the first time in his career. This isn't Caleb Williams, right? This is Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. This is Jalen Hurts, 2-time NFC champion. And so I can see him do it. I've seen him do it. I believe that he can do it. But does he have to? 610-632-0975. By the way, Sixers, nice win last night.
Really nice win for the Sixers last night. And that's a good bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, look,
after
the
crappy
Wizards
performance
stink,
the other night.
but they lost to a Nuggets team that did not have any starters the other night, so you needed to see them win. You know what's been encouraging? I knock on wood. There you go.
Oh, boy.
Don't say it.
Guys have been playing.
Oh, my God, Andy.
What is it, the 5 games in a row? Or was that like saying Beetlejuice?
I'm just saying, like, that's like hell freezing over.
No, that is very no.
Another night where the trio of Embiid, George, and Maxey played.
I want to celebrate it. I don't, Connor. I know you want to whistle by the graveyard. I want to celebrate it because people like me have been so long critical of it.
You need to see it.
So I want to see it, but I also want to applaud it and say, okay, that's what I want to see. And I don't need to see. Joel Embiid doesn't have to play
every night
8 straight games.
Yeah.
But I need to see Joel Embiid play 6 out of 7, 8 out of 9, 5 out of 6, and then go on these stretches. And to me, I admire it, and I applaud
The
it.
trio has played, as you said, 5 straight games. The overtime game against the Grizzlies, the win over the Mavericks, the win over the Knicks, the loss, unfortunately, in overtime to the Nuggets, and then yesterday's game. So 5 straight games where we've seen the trio. And much like the Grizzlies game, we're starting to see, wow, this is one of the best games out of the trio. Embiid last night, 28 points, 7 rebounds. Paul George last night, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. He made 4 3-point shots. Part of the reason why you lost that Nuggets game, he was 2 of 9 from 3. He had a much better day from beyond yesterday. Tyrese Maxey, 22 points, 8 assists. And you continue to get VJ Edgecombe, whether it's the nights where he's scoring 20 or a night like last night where he finishes with only 13, but he has 7 dimes and 6 rebounds.
I love his development is coming along really, really well. And I also love the fact that Nick Nurse is something that Doc Rivers got a lot of grief for, is that Nick Nurse is saying, okay, I'll give you a little more, give you a little more, give you a little more.
Yeah.
And he's coming through, so that's great.
And the rotations have been nice. And look, I know people didn't want to hear excuses about health because it's the Sixers. So, it's been the same story every single year. But it's not just the Embiid George factor, right? Jared McCain played 11 minutes yesterday. Kelly Oubre played 20 minutes. Remember, he missed some time this year. So you're starting to get some of the other guys that can go on the court and fill minutes and not completely kill you. We have seen Sixers teams go to the bench and it completely kill them. Now, I don't need to see the Wizards start the second quarter with an 11-0 run, but,
Right.
Sixers win last night, 131-110. Then you got the big three, I'll say, the trio again together on the court. So the Sixers with a nice win yesterday. All right, you could text in. You could call in 610-632-0975. How much are you putting on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts? I think he has to be Superman for them to get back to the Super Bowl. All right? Whether that's unfair or not, I believe it's unfair. Because it's unfair that he has to overcome the offensive coordinator who's been a problem all season long.
You really believe he's got to do this? This is interesting to me because I think the defense can get them to the Super Bowl. I think Jalen can be just good, and this team can go to the Super Bowl.
All right, let's continue the conversation. 610-632-0975. Coming up next, why do I think Jalen Hurts needs to be Superman? The playoffs start Sunday, and we're still talking identity in January. Hear Nick Sirianni on that next. Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Injury update for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news on the injury report yesterday as both Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean were back at practice in a limited capacity. So the Birds are trending towards being healthy for their wild card matchup with the Niners Sunday, 4:30 p.m. at the Link. For San Fran, both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice yesterday. Something to keep an eye on for them. As for Jalen Hurts, he met with the media yesterday, and he was asked about his mentality and how he's been able to perform in big games.
Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or where you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
That's in you.
I'm just answering your question.
Jalen, typical Jalen answer, but he's not wrong. He's had it in him lately to be a big game quarterbacker throughout his career. We'll keep you updated on everything ahead of the big game with the Niners. Sixers took down the Wizards 131-110 last night. 7 players in double figures for the Sixers. They're off till Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7. You can hear that game here live on The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco will join us from the 8 o'clock hour till the end of the show. This update is brought to you by Michelob Ultra. Bill Colarulo and Michelob Ultra are heading to Lucy's on Chestnut Street this Friday, January 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. for an Ultra Access event featuring $5 Michelob Ultra drafts in Center City. You can score tickets to the Fanatic Suite for an upcoming Sixers game sponsored by Michelob Ultra. Please enjoy responsibly. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
This hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
6:30 on this Thursday morning, 97.5 The Fanatic. Andrew the Checo will join us for his weekly Thursday sit-in. Not hit, because he's here for 2 hours. He joins us for the entire 8 and 9 o'clock hours, as he will help us break down this upcoming Eagles-49ers game. Our topic to start the show at 610-632-0975. How much weight are you putting on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts? I saw our man MBD on our YouTube chat saying, as a matter of, sorry, wrong one. He said, it's actually the complete opposite of what Chunas just said. The formula for this team to be successful has literally never been asking the quarterback to be Superman. Last year, they had a ground game. It's what I keep on coming back to. They don't have said ground game. Now, who knows? Maybe the magical rest of Week 18 helps the offensive line get pushed up front. Saquon Barkley can run the football, and then you're right, MBD. Jalen Hurts can have his, 15 to 20 pass attempts efficient, just like what we saw in Week 2 against the Chiefs. He had a very efficient game that day. No turnovers, kept the chains moving, because efficient isn't just like 15 of 20 for 90 yards. You got to move the chains, and that was the biggest problem against the Buffalo game. If they have 2 more first downs against the Bills in the second half, it's not even close.
I think if Devontae Smith's ball is caught,
right,
if that is a caught ball, I think the game's like the last possession never happens.
Yeah, probably.
So I mean, like you could even be talking about one play there that really moves the chains and does it. So I think your point is good. I just believe I don't go as far as NBD, but I don't believe Jalen Hurts. I think the Superman cape does not have to come out, and I don't see any team in the AFC, should they even make the Super Bowl, where I would believe that Jalen Hurts has to be Superman in order to beat them.
Connor, where do you come in on this? Connor Thomas, producer of this fine program.
What's up, boys?
Hi, Connor.
Does Jalen Hurts have to be Superman?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
No, it's a completely unfair ask and unfair expectation based on what we've seen from him throughout his career.
Well, I told you it was unfair.
It's not that
You did say that.
I said it was unfair.
Well, you said it might be unfair, and I'm here to tell you it absolutely is. Because based on what he's been in his career, he's never really, he has been Superman in a couple instances. But I agree with MBD on the YouTube. That's not what his role has been with this team. And with all the other talent around him, Saquon now gets left off of this. AJ and Devontae and Dallas Goedert with the year he's had. The offensive line's got to be much better. The defense, he's a piece of the machine, and he's a very important piece being the franchise quarterback. But asking him to be Superman is setting yourself up for failure.
I see a big, too, is that this may sound stupid, but the bigger the stat line that Jalen comes in with on Monday, to me, will tell me that the game probably went sideways a bit and the Eagles got themselves into a little bit of a shootout where the defense didn't play as well.
Well, and that's my fear. Yeah, the one I said this when you were out. The one slip-up game. I'm worried about a potential slip-up game for the Eagles' defense.
Even the Bears game, which was considered a slip-up, the Eagles were losing 10-9 with 10 minutes to go.
But and
that was a slip-up game.
Texans defense have had a few slip-up games. The Broncos actually have had the Broncos are one of the better defenses in football, and they've had many slip-up games where they've allowed 25-plus points. The Eagles' defense does not really do that. I'm worried about the one. So you say it's unfair, and I'm kind of setting myself up for disaster if I ask Jalen Hurts to be Superman, right? Those kind of your words, paraphrasing.
Yeah, absolutely. You run the offense a normal way, and if he creates the opportunity to be Superman, great, but you don't try and look for it.
You know what else is setting myself up for disaster?
What?
Believing in Kevin Patullo to come up with a game plan that's going to work. That's all, because it hasn't all year.
Well, could it be, though, too, think of it this way. Kevin Patullo has been losing chess matches.
Yes.
Because he's been going up against the Eagles this year played a really brutal schedule compared to the year before.
Absolutely.
Next year's schedule, by the way, if you peek ahead, it's a lot less rugged. But this year was rugged.
Yeah.
So he has played a really, really rugged chess matches. The 49ers defense, if this offense cannot put up 24 points on Sunday, it looks like, to me, that's bad. And I think it bodes very poorly for their chances to then put 3 more wins together and have us in another parade before Valentine's Day.
Sure.
But so Sunday, you're watching for that. This should be the easiest defense that they face. And I'm not ripping the 49ers.
No,
this is
they're
banged up. This is a banged up 49ers defense with a lot of fill-in players. If Kevin Patullo and his box of Crayola 64s, if he can't come up with something that makes this 49ers defense look poor, you're in trouble.
You're rich enough to have the 64 crayons?
No, we never had the 64.
I had the 12-pack,
And
man.
Betty would buy the Bobos sometimes,
Oh,
too.
well, I appreciate the Bobo.
I don't.
Now, it's January 8th, and I can't believe we're still having this conversation, but we are, because they themselves, as of last month, were still trying to figure it out. The identity of the offense. We're going into a playoff game. We're still talking about this.
Are they still talking identity?
This was Nick Sirianni yesterday on the best teams always have an identity.
Yeah, you have to have an identity of what you want to do. I think it starts with that, is having an identity. But that's also, there's a fine line there too. Is like, hey, I want to run this because this is part of our identity. Well, you might have to do some different things to get out of some, hey, okay, well, maybe we don't run it versus this, or maybe we don't run it versus that, because you're setting yourself up and you're not for a bad play potentially. But I think it always starts with an identity. I think the best teams are always going to have an identity that they rest on, and that's what we've been trying to continue to accomplish throughout this year. And we know we know a lot of the things that we're good at and that we want to continue to try to press. But they're watching tape too, and they're gonna have answers for that. And so there are things that you can call and run, and there's some things that part of your identity that you call on your terms, and you have both of those things as you go through.
What are they good at?
What
are they good at? Listening to Nick.
Dallas Goedert touchdowns in the red zone.
No, the red zone.
Really good.
No, the red zone. They're, as we've talked about.
Yeah, one of the best.
No, they're
the
spectacular.
Best in the league, yeah.
It's the best the Eagles have ever been in the history of their franchise. And Kevin Patullo gets credit for that.
Absolutely.
As does but it's those other 80 pesky yards that somehow cause Kevin Patullo to just lose his mind. I think what they need to do by Sunday, just bear with me here.
Okay.
Paint the field red. Or do something that tricks Kevin Patullo into thinking they're always in the red zone. Because his play calling in the red zone has been fantastic. Oh, creative?
Yeah.
Interesting? So let's trick him into thinking he's designing red zone plays all day long, because he has been fantastic. It's those other 80 yards. But to hear Nick talk about, we know what we're good at. Okay. Now, in these press conferences, the Eagles press corps they don't get to ask the follow-up question, because they say, Zach Berman, you're next. Andrew DiCecco, you're next.
Right.
They don't get to just ask follow-up questions. But the follow-up question would be, Nick, what is it exactly you think you're good at, this offense? Because I'd love to know.
Yeah.
We know what we're good at. I would love him to tell us what they think, what he thinks they're good at.
Because here's the shame. It's not just X's and O's. It's the penalties have been a problem all season long. The offensive line getting pushed up front has been a problem all season long. And then if you want to really go into X's and O's, the ground game has been
Is it too harsh to say that they, I don't know what they're good at.
No, that's why I feel the way that I feel. But they have great players. They have talent. And so, I guess you can just go to sleep at night thinking we have such a talented offense. And then I would say, well, then how come it's been this way all season long? But they believe they have something that they're good at. I also found it funny, well, not funny, sad, when he said during the clip, that's what we've been trying to accomplish all year. Like, again, it's January 8th. The playoffs are this weekend.
He's saying trying.
We're still trying to accomplish something. Now, you mentioned follow-up questions. So nobody followed up, what is it that you're good at? But Jeff McClain followed up with, do you believe you found said identity?
I do. I think we are continuing to get better through that, and I think that it's shown in these last some of these last games. And obviously, Buffalo, we had a bad half, where we didn't we didn't do a good enough job at coaching. We didn't do a good enough job playing, but I think we have.
What is he talking about? That is absolute fan fiction. Is that that's fan fiction? What is he talking about?
A game against the Raiders where they beat a bad football team 31.
You mean like one of the worst teams ever? The team that's getting the number one pick in the draft?
Yes.
Like, Nick, coach, that is absolute fiction. That's ridiculous. How can he say that with a straight face? We know what we're good at. And, yeah, we've been getting that. Yeah, we know. No, BS. That's ridiculous.
So this is why, again, going back to my initial premise, all right, I'm not just talking about what is the identity of the Eagles. We already know they don't have one. But my initial premise of this entire show so far has been that Jalen Hurts, I think, needs to play Superman because we're questioning identity in January. We're questioning what they're good at in January. We're questioning why the offense has not looked good for the majority of the season. We talked about 5 games. They play 17. 5 games where the offense where you took away good things from the Eagles' offense. The spurts conversation is dead. It's January. Right? It's 2026.
Correct.
So we've seen good things. That goes out the window. Like, now I need you to start putting it together. And that's why it's unfair for me to say it, but I think it's necessary that Jalen Hurts is going to have to overcome Kevin Patullo for them to get back to the Super Bowl. And that's the point that I'm trying to make. I'm not saying he's got to throw for 350 yards. I got to see the Vikings game where the plays break down. He's got to make the plays.
Now, the thing is, though, that sort of is what people would assume when you say Superman.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry.
Like, Superman would be a super stat line. I don't see super stat lines necessarily coming, but I didn't see them coming. The NFC title game and the Super Bowl, those were super performances.
They were super performances, absolutely. I think it's coming in Monday morning. Did Jalen Hurts win the football game or not? And the defense.
Right.
Right? Like, I think that's what it's going to come down to. 610-632-0975. We'll check our text line coming up next. How much weight are you putting on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts? Also, regardless of what we think about the Eagles offense, the 49ers fans and media think this is a no contest. Hear the latest season is over feeling from the Bay Area. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, FanDuel is giving all customers a profit boost every college playoff game day. That means more chances to level up your picks and turn big moments into bigger winnings. Ride with the favorite, take a shot on the underdog, or build a parlay, then apply your profit boost and go for bigger winnings. FanDuel is the place to get into the football action all playoff long, whether it's college or the NFL. And when you win, you get paid instantly. So we do have college football tonight, the college football semifinals. Tonight, we have Miami and we have Ole Miss, and then tomorrow will be the Oregon and Indiana game. I said it in the read yesterday. I might go with a Miami-Oregon championship game, where Miami, as the favorite in tonight's game, gets the win, in Oregon, as the dogs tomorrow, gets the win against Indiana, even though that bummed me out. Indiana's been such a fun story this year. Visit FanDuel.com/Fanatic. That's FanDuel.com/Fanatic to get your college playoff profit boost today. You got to be 21 plus, present Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-tradable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 6:47 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Connor, what do we got on the text line? Ms. Renee on our YouTube chat says she has sent multiple, and we've not read her, so she's upset.
How is Renee today, hopefully?
Connor, you are the keeper of the text line. So I'm curious, did you see Renee's text? And if not, what do we got?
I have not seen one from Renee yet, but I'll check back in a second here.
Connor's
fault.
I have a question for you that I just want to ask real quickly. DJ wants to know, are they crystals on your wrist?
I don't know. It's, I think, graphite. I got it for like $8.
He wondered if they were the health crystals.
You've had that for a while.
Shop in Arizona. It's supposed to keep you balanced, I guess. I
Okay,
don't know.
yeah, so he thought that.
God,
That's what he was asking.
These stupid baseball
dude,
things.
I thought it was cool because I saw it in a gift shop in
my
Arizona.
God. What were those things called in high school?
The fightins.
They would wear these. Oh, man, it makes me feel balanced and more relaxed. Get the hell out of here. You guys are all, you fall for fraudulent scams
we
all the
need
time.
it. Wild card weekend, we need the balance.
It was $8.
Just
I
like
spent
the
$8
offense
in a
and the
workout.
Dude, I
defense.
still remember, I had a buddy of mine that played baseball in high school with, and he had like 8. And he's, well, this one's for balance, and this one's for a mental fortitude. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
Whatever helps you. So this texter out from the Southwest says Jalen Hurts doesn't need to be Superman, but he does need to be multidimensional. Use his legs more, and that's the key.
Who's
I
that?
love
Is that
that
Doctor Strange? I don't watch the.
We have had a Doctor Strange comparison on.
All right, so he's Doctor Strange.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Okay,
right.
give me the context of Doctor Strange. I don't get it.
He can change universes and time.
I love that answer, though. I love that response from the texter there because we need a multi-dimensional. I just don't believe the Superman cape needs to come out, especially this weekend. And if the Superman cape needs to come out from this offense to beat the 49ers, then the defense has some questions to answer. Really has some questions to answer.
Sure. All right, what else we got?
Jim from Nazareth is saying Jalen going Superman to me is 50-plus yards rushing a game and running vertically instead of parallel to the line of scrimmage.
I love that answer.
Look, Superman is not just throwing for 300. It's running. I said in the open, like, he has to run the ball. Part of the reason why I do believe this offense has stalled at times is and the reports are that he has not wanted to run the football as much. I understand. Maybe he's trying to think about his health. He's been hurt at the end of seasons, even though they won a Super Bowl, got back to another one. Part of their success in the playoffs has also been his ability to run the football. I can't imagine that come playoff time, Jalen Hurts is not going to want to run the football. If that is what's best for the team, you know him. All he wants to do is win. Being Superman is not just throwing. It's also him running the football.
Do you remember last year, though, the him with the designed runs against the Rams in the playoff game before the snow came? The snow came.
I have his stat lines.
What was it? Give it some of them.
I'll go back to the 2022-3 playoffs where they go to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
9 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown. 11 carries, 39 yards and a touchdown. That was those games were over. Remember, the Giants and Niners games were beatdowns. 15 for 70 and 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs. And remember that 2-point conversion where he was Superman and put the team on his back? Then this past playoff run. 6 for 36 against the Packers. 7 for 70 against the Rams and a touchdown. 10 for 16 in the beatdown. It was, beatdown against the Commanders. And then in the Super Bowl where he was Superman because they took away the run from Saquon, 11 for 72 and a touchdown.
There it is.
He needs to run the football. That is part of the Superman, my ask of him being Superman. It's not just throwing the ball. He's got to run. It's part of the offense that has worked most for this Eagles team is when he has the willingness to run the football, which is something that has been reported that he has not been willing to do.
He didn't prefer to do it as much.
Sure.
I don't think it said, I'm not doing it.
Right. I also think that was
less.
somebody upset inside NovaCare and was like, who can I blame?
Exactly.
All right. You were doing a media tour yesterday.
I'm trying to do some media. I'm trying to bring my level of joy to the West Coast because hearing these sad people. I did Sacktown Sports yesterday.
Okay.
So I did the Sacramento. I didn't realize that Sacramento roots for the 49ers.
Yeah.
So Sacramento people root for the 49ers. That is they're a 49ers town. So I did Sacktown Sports yesterday. And 3 people were on the show. So their version of Connor and John and Andrew, all of them picking the Eagles.
Okay.
Like, It's just
Wow.
KNBR. There, both hosts picking the Eagles.
Interesting.
I'm like, it is. They are in negativity mode, and people think that, man, the Eagles take a lot of heat here. I mean, it's wild card week, and
Do they have any bit of excitement in their voice, or were they just like, this is done?
I think they all thought. The sad part is they all thought if they had won Saturday night and were the 1 seed, they could have potentially rested up, been the 1 seed, and only had to win 2 home games to go to the Super Bowl. That was the only path they thought they had to go anywhere.
And you made the Vikings comparison yesterday, that Vikings did not get the 1 seed, and then they got spanked.
But I'll tell you this, their media out there, negative. I mean, negative on their team. I was more complimentary. They said, we brought on a guy from Philly, and he's more positive about our team than we are. Than we are.
So yesterday we played you, was it Willard?
Yes.
Willard.
Right.
From 95.7 The Game, which is in the Bay Area. They talk about the 49ers.
They do a great job.
So here's I don't know his real name. I just know he's the guru.
He's the guru.
The guru.
Daryl Johnson.
Daryl Johnson. All right, one of their other hosts on 95.7 The Game. This was
guru.
His thoughts on the 49ers going to the playoffs against the Eagles.
This is not participation trophies. This is coming from your boy's heart. The fact that the Niners even put themselves in position to get the 1 seed made me question sports. Just ravaged by injuries, put themselves in a position to get a 1 seed to where it makes you forget about Bosa. It makes you forget about Warner when you know how important guys like that are, and Ayuk and Pearsall, and that didn't happen. But it doesn't make your boy over here sitting in this chair omit or forget just how great this coaching job to put themselves in that position last Saturday night. With that said, they got a built-in excuse if somehow they don't get it done Saturday, is our defense was decimated.
No. Yeah, that seems to be the big thing, is that we've come as far as we can come.
Yeah.
That is how they feel. That seems to be the overwhelming theme that I'm getting, is that they've squeezed every bit of juice out of the lemon. Saturday night was their big chance. The balloon
popped.
James
Ream on our YouTube chat, he works with 2 49ers fans.
Okay.
They both picked the Eagles as well. They're checked out over the Fred Warner and Brandon Ayuk situations.
It's been a while, though, for both of those. So were they checked out?
Ayuk's exhausting.
But were they checked out last week? Or they just got checked out,
I would imagine losing to the Seahawks was that final straw for Niners fans. All right, coming up next, Eagles defense, they need to lead the charge. We all agree. It's the defense first that needs to win games for the Eagles. As scary as Kyle Shanahan is, I feel like that's it for the Niners, Johnny. We go through some matchups, and you tell me if the Niners have any advantage. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Birds looking healthy. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news on the injury report yesterday. Lane Johnson and Kobe Dean both back at practice in a limited capacity, so the Birds are trending towards being pretty darn healthy for their wild card matchup with the 49ers Sunday, 4:30 at the Link. That was the plan, with the starters resting in Week 18 for San Francisco. Both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice yesterday. We'll keep an eye on that and see if they're able to go. If not, that would be a big help for the Birds. As for Jalen Hurts, he met with the media yesterday, and he talked about how even though it's a different year, the goal is still the same for the Eagles.
Every year is different, but it's always the same goal. If you don't have that mentality, then, you're not in the right place. Ultimately, it's just coming in, treating every year as its own year, but also knowing exactly what we're playing for and putting ourselves in positions to play for championships.
Well, you can't win a championship in the wild card round, but you can certainly go home, so we'll keep you updated on everything ahead of the big game. Sixers took down the Wizards 131-110 last night. They had 7 players in double figures. They're off until Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Andrew DiCecco joins us from the 8 o'clock hour to the end of the show. This update is brought to you by Mothers Against Drunk Driving. For victims of drunk and drug driving, your grief is unique, but you are not alone. You always have a place at MAD. Call the 24-hour victim helpline at 877-MAD-HELP or visit madd.org. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Kincade and Salciunas. Philly Sports Talk. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, just making sure everybody has the number correct, 610-632-0975. Connor was looking for the text from Renee, and he said he doesn't have any of them.
So Renee is calling out Connor and not. Come on now, Renee.
I don't know. Look, I believe Renee has texted in. Maybe she
Renee's
has the wrong
texted
number.
in. Maybe it's just a different number. Come on, Renee.
610-632-0975.
Or just talk to us.
Yeah, you could do that. So I didn't see this till just now. Not that, this is going to change anything. The Eagles' defense is already really good. But Ian Rappaport yesterday, the Eagles opened up the practice window for Azeez Ojulari.
Is that good news?
I mean, when he started playing, remember, for whatever reason, he didn't dress the first 4 weeks. He then dressed out of necessity because Nolan Smith was hurt.
Absolutely.
They didn't have anybody. Zadarius Smith retires out of nowhere. That's still a crazy story that hopefully one day when we go down the video yearbook of the 2025 Eagles, we can spend a few minutes on Zadarius Smith just being like, yeah, I'm coming out of retirement for the Eagles. I'm retiring a couple weeks later. But no, Azeez Ojulari played well until he got hurt. So
I was big on him coming here, but I was extremely disappointed with what I saw when I saw it.
Part of the reason why you brought in Brandon Graham is because you had to.
Yeah.
Right? That was a out of necessity move. You make the trade for Jalen Phillips. There was a lot of moves where they had to make them. So you're getting some depth back. If he does even dress, we'll find out. It's not like he was dressing to start the season. You sent me a really interesting tweet from Jeff Kerr.
Yes.
And some of the numbers of the Philadelphia Eagles defense this year compared to last year. After you give that, I want to go through this matchup with the Eagles and Niners. And I thought about this a lot yesterday driving home because we spent so much time talking about the decision to rest starters or to play starters, whatever. Then we had some other angles yesterday. We have Andrew Pacheco in for 2 hours today, and Andrew can really break things down for us. We're looking forward to it. But I was really thinking about this Eagles-Niners matchup, and I started thinking about the Niners offense, and you know how I'm afraid of Kyle Shanahan. I literally called them the San Francisco Shanahans. And I really started thinking about where do the Niners have an advantage, but give me the numbers first.
Okay, yeah, Jeff Kerr, who is Philadelphia's top free agent available right now, by the way. JT Realmuto second, probably. He puts out there the Eagles' defense right now, and he's just comparing it to where they ended up last year, okay? Because everybody thinks about last year's defense, by the way, against a weaker schedule. The opponent passer rating last year, 82.5, which was third in the NFL. Fantastic.
Yeah.
This year, 75.4. That's incredible improvement.
Where's that at?
Second.
Who's better? Seahawks?
I think Seahawks are better.
That's
incredible, though. You improved by 7%.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, and you improved against far better. You played a rougher schedule this year.
It's why at one point this season I said I'm more impressed. It's really hard to pick how impressed you are versus last year and this year. I'm more impressed this year because of your point, the schedule.
Last year's defense, as Jeff Kerr points out, opponent completion percentage. Last year, 62.2%, which was sixth in the NFL. Fantastic.
Yeah, very good.
This year, 56.8%, first in the NFL. Again, a 7% improvement. It's freaking incredible. Sacks last year, they were 13th with 41. This year, they were 12th with 42. We don't think of, I personally felt that's the number that stuck out to me. I did not think they had the sacks they had last year.
Well, remember the Chargers game, they had, 7 on Herbert?
Yes, they did.
That'll change things.
I get that, but that would have been last year, too. And their pressure rate last year, 37.1%, which was 7th in the NFL. This year, against better competition, 40.2%, 5th in the NFL.
Yeah.
Again, those two stats are the ones that stood out to me. Because if you asked me, I would have told you BS. They weren't better in sacks, they weren't better in pressure rate, and they were in both categories.
And it really is amazing how much it's changed. I know I have a love affair with them when they acquired Jalen Phillips, but it wasn't just Phillips. It was N'Kobe came back from injury, right? N'Kobe Dean coming back was a big deal. And one thing that's going to get lost a lot in this conversation, because when we talk about the defense, go ahead, first 3 names that come to your mind when it comes to the Eagles defense.
Jalen Carter,
Quinyon Mitchell,
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, first 3 names,
and then Jordan Davis would be my 4th.
Yeah, and then there'll be 5 other names before we get to this one. Maybe 10 other names before we get to this one. This Eagles defense has not lost a step since Marcus Epps took over at safety.
Not a bit.
And that's a storyline that's going to get lost. Elevated over Sidney Brown, yes.
Yes, it's elevated. I think you
Drew
go too
Makuba,
big.
before he got hurt, was starting to play much better. And look, we all kind of expected that. He was hurt throughout the majority of camp. He's a rookie learning a complex system, especially the safety position in a Vic Fangio defense is very complex. You go from, oh, my God, Sidney Brown's going to have to start for us, which you know how I feel. But I don't think he can play football. I think he's a menace.
You think he could play special teams potentially?
And he pisses me off on special teams.
He drives me nuts on special
because he
teams
gets
also.
penalized and does dumb things. Like, I don't want him on my team. Like, I wish Sidney Brown was no longer an Eagle after this year. I digress. Marcus Epps being here and overtaking Sidney Brown, which may not be that difficult, for the starting job and playing well is a big reason why this defense has not lost a beat losing one of their starters.
I was shocked by those numbers. Now, Connor, when I'm giving the numbers, I always look at your eyes because I can sort of figure out how you're. Would you have said the same thing I did? If someone said to you, Connor, was the Eagles' pressure rate better this year? Were the Eagles better in sacks this year? What would your gut instinct have been?
Probably not, but I think my biggest thought hearing that is we got completely incepted by the last game of the year. The Super Bowl, they were so damn dominant on the defensive front that I think our lasting memory of last year's defense was, hey, they stopped Patrick Mahomes without blitzing a single time. That wasn't who they were last year. That's who they were in spurts. And in the postseason, they were playing at their best. But the numbers being better this year, I think that kind of tracks. This defense, I told you last week, maybe you were in, maybe you weren't, Johnny. I said I have more faith in this year's defense than last year.
I have more faith in this year's.
Yeah.
And the big thing is, to me, it's the back end. And it's even with Reed Blankenship, I think, having a not as good year.
Yeah, he's not.
I think he has had a lesser year than he had the year before. But to me, I just have a confidence in this Eagles defense. What I've seen, Quinyon Mitchell has just become, I mean, and remember, I'm looking at it like, I'm looking at some of the greats who've played for this organization, like Eric Allen, watching his whole career. Like, going back to the days where the Eagles always had the back end figured out.
They got a quality back end, like high-level back end for the Eagles.
They squat a lot.
I think that's Saquon Jalen.
What do we got on the text line? 610-632-0975. And then I want to go through this Eagles defense versus Niners offense because I thought about this a lot yesterday, and I want you to try to tell me where I'm wrong. But what do you got on the text line?
Nothing about back ends, but we do have more conversation on Hurts. And Rob from Lambertville does need him to be Superman. He says Jalen needs to be better than ever. This weekend is going to be the A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith show, and Jalen will throw for 300-plus
yards. I don't need that. I'm not
Wow.
asking for that. I'm asking for, 230 and 50 yards on the ground.
230 would be fantastic.
Like,
that's not Superman.
No, but that is for him.
Well, that's
that is
different.
for him.
Yeah, but that's not Superman, though. You see what I mean? Is that, no, when people hear you,
Fine, I got you.
You're going to.
I'm not saying 400 yards.
Okay, well, people hear Superman, then you're just saying you need Jalen to play above the stat line you've been seeing him play all
Right.
year.
Maybe I should articulate it better. I'll do that
it's-
tomorrow.
Yeah, no, it's just
We'll
the
redo
idea.
the
is
show
that.
tomorrow.
No, but it's just that idea of, because people are going to hold you to
Sure,
that
I got
and
you.
say, you said Superman. Yeah. It's the idea is that I don't need to see the cape. I just need to see that elevation, though. I think 200 yards against this pass. They give up 230 a game. And by the way, as the year went along, they actually gave up more to get that number up to 230 a game. So earlier in the year, they were doing better. So,
by the way, his over-under for the game, passing yards, you guys want to take a guess?
190.
174.5.
You win because you're closer.
The Price is Right?
206.
See that?
Okay.
206.5 is the over-under for Jalen Hurts.
I got up on stage.
Passing
Connor.
yards.
There you go.
All right. Tell me where I'm wrong. So
This is our favorite thing to do, Connor.
So many places.
This is so much fun. Let's do it.
So I was thinking about this Eagles game, and even though I think Jalen Hurts is going to have to, uplift his game again unfairly because Kevin
I don't think that's unfair. Why do you think that's unfair?
Because Kevin Patullo is a disaster, so he's going to have to overcome horrible play.
How about Jalen making smarter decisions?
Sure,
There's things Jalen can do. Sure.
I was thinking about this Eagles defense because everybody that we have heard from that covers the San Francisco 49ers has talked about how their offensive line is a mess, right? And yesterday, Kyle Shanahan basically said Trent Williams is still up in the air, like doubtful. Like they might not have their Hall of Fame left tackle, and if he does play, he's not going to be himself.
If he doesn't practice today, and this is what I was told yesterday in Sacktown, if a Kyle Shanahan offensive lineman does not practice Wednesday and Thursday, he doesn't play Sunday.
Okay.
That has been the history. Now, that could be different. Trent Williams could potentially be different, but it said it would be something that has never happened.
Yeah, Trent Williams is Lane Johnson for me. Like, how many times have I said, Lane Johnson going to hibernation, we could wake him up and say, go play football, right? I think Trent Williams going to the Hall of Fame. We could do that.
And it looks like Adam Schefter yesterday on our show broke the big story for Philadelphia that rewrote a lot of people's stories because a lot of people were worried about Lane Johnson.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not going to play. He's not going to play.
He's
and
going to play.
Schefter comes on with us and goes, yeah, I think he's playing. And then all hell breaks loose.
So Niners offensive line, from everybody that covers that team, tells you they're the reason why whenever they have struggles offensively, it's because of the offensive line. They're banged up. They're not that good. So that favors the Eagles' defensive line. You just gave all those numbers.
Correct.
Winning in the pass rush, getting to the quarterback, not even sacks, even though the sack numbers are good too, but just the pressures on the quarterback. So there's number one. To combat that, what do offenses want to do? They want to get the ball out quick, right? Getting the ball out quick means underneath, right? It's not taking shots downfield. It's getting the ball out quick, flat, underneath, middle of the field. The Eagles have Cooper DeJean. They have Zach Bond. They have Nakobe Dean. They have Jihad Campbell. Those are the guys that man that middle of the field, the flat, the line of scrimmage. Christian McCaffrey is an incredible player. Incredible player. But I got four guys. If we talk about the Eagles and defenses are going to try to zero in on Saquon Barkley, I imagine they're going to try to zero in on Christian McCaffrey a little bit. And the one threat receiving-wise in that area is George Kittle. But I just gave you those four names defensively. And that's if Kittle goes, because that's up in the air too.
I think it's fantastic.
Are you afraid of Kendrick Bourne, Jawan Jennings? Are you afraid of those guys?
No. And if I was, then there should be nobody talking about going to the Super Bowl.
Right.
You should not be talking about the Super Bowl.
Quinyon Mitchell locks down Jamar Chase. He locks down Justin Jefferson. I am not worried about Quinyon Mitchell against Kendrick Bourne or Jawan Jennings. Adoree Jackson has played a much better brand of football the last couple of weeks, and the name Marcus Epps that I just mentioned is usually the guy behind him. I don't worry that much about that side of the field, too. So if Brock Purdy does not have time to throw the football, they can't take many shots downfield. And if they do, I have incredible cornerbacks. We just talked about the beautiful back ends of the Eagles. And if they try to get the ball out quick and underneath, one man, Christian McCaffrey, is going to beat this Eagles defense?
No, he's not. That's flat out. That's one of the greatest reasons where, like playoff week, I tend to be very restless. I tend to be that same way. You were feeling the butterflies yesterday. I woke up again today not feeling the butterflies. I feel very calm, confident about this.
Oh no,
game.
it was game day butterflies. Not
I don't feel
nerves.
but I don't feel it at all. Like I don't feel it at all.
Yeah, I'm just chilling.
I feel very good. I feel very good about this matchup. I feel very, very confident about this Eagles defense being up to the challenge, especially when I see the beat-up offensive line.
Yeah.
And the way the other night Seattle was able to just sort of get in the kitchen of Brock Purdy. Because I like Brock Purdy more than both of you do. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you guys disrespect him. I think it's just I like him a little more than you guys do. But I watched how they got in his kitchen the other night, and he was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and look, Christian McCaffrey is their one game record. Like Ricky Pearsall, another name that I forgot to mention. He's been a disappointment for Niners fans. Ultimately, it's probably because he got shot before the season started last year, which was a wild story. But like Christian McCaffrey is the guy that you're going to worry about the most out of anybody on the 49ers. If the Eagles can find a semblance of an offensive game plan, right, you can take away Saquon, but you have A.J. Brown and you have Devontae Smith and you have Dallas Goedert, which is why they were so dominant last year, which is why when the Chiefs did take away the ground game, they were still able to throw downfield. The 49ers don't have that.
No, they don't.
The Brandon Ayuk, whatever situation, he's not on the team. Deebo Samuel doesn't play for them anymore. Jerry Rice isn't coming out of retirement. Like, there's nobody that strikes fear for me other than Kittle and McCaffrey, but the Eagles' defense actually kind of plays perfectly to those threats.
Well, also, too, I mean, and the Kittle thing as you bring up, I mean, where I worry about Kittle now is much more of just moving the chain.
Sure.
Can move the chains. And again, I'm not disrespecting George Kittle. Love George Kittle's game. I wish he's one of those players. Connor said it the other day best. He's a guy I could really root for.
Yeah.
Like, I'd really enjoy rooting for George Kittle. But he's not a guy that worries me now as being a game wrecker. He's a guy that would worry me more about move
Keeping
the
a
chains,
drive alive,
move the chains, keep drives, big catches and big times type of person.
Ultimately, as I always think about the Niners, I think about Shanahan. They're going to move the ball downfield. They're going to be in scoring position. Vic Fangio kind of allows it. Vic Fangio's the opposite of Patullo. You know how we just talked about how Patullo's kind of bad the other 80 yards, but inside the red zone, he's been spectacular.
No,
Vic Fangio's like, yeah, go ahead, get to the red zone.
Do what you want to do.
But we won't allow you to score 6 points.
No, we're just going to hold you. Vic Fangio has been such a godsend.
Absolutely has been. All right.
It's unbelievable.
Am I wrong in any of my analysis there?
No, I don't think so.
No, I think that is, and I think that now that you've clarified your point on Hurts, I think everybody agrees with you. I think that the thing is, though, I understand why you said Superman, because him elevating his numbers like that sort of is feeling like going from what he was during the season to that. Sort of feels like Superman, but he doesn't have to be.
I've seen an offense suck all year.
I know. You have. And I think all of us are in the same boat. We're just in different parts of the boat.
This is a Superman stat line for Jalen Hurts. Again, for Jalen. 17 of 22, 221 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
Oh, no.
11 carries, 72 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, but we don't want 1 pick. Against this team, though.
You know what that stat line is? Super Bowl 59.
Okay, but we don't want the 1 pick. We don't want the 1 pick, though. Because Jalen's stat line that's Superman has to begin and end with no turnovers. Begin and end with that, because that is their key. With this defense, I think that's the key. No short fields. No gift possessions. You lost a Super Bowl, and yesterday T-Lub was going nuts on me.
Yeah, I think you go a little too far with that.
Okay. You lost a Super Bowl by 3 points that was tied with 2 minutes to go, and you gave the Chiefs a touchdown. You gave them 7 points. Patrick Mahomes did not give the Eagles 7 points. I mean,
Punt coverage could have been better.
No, there are a lot of things could have been better.
Second half defense could have been better.
I got you. But you gave them 7 points that you didn't
Whatever
have to
magic medicine Patrick Mahomes' knee got.
Which I still don't understand. I think he went to the Tiger Woods, like, blood spinning at halftime or something, vampire school.
That guy looked like he was about to get his leg amputated.
Bottom line.
And then comes out in the second half. He's like, no, I'm fine.
Bottom line. A tie game with 2 minutes to go could have been a 7-point lead for the Eagles with 2 minutes to go.
I just think you go a little too far saying he's the reason why they lost.
No, but I praise him for that effort. I think it was spectacular. He was spectacular. That big mistake by Jalen, though, that's 7 points. You lost the game. You lost by 3.
Yeah, I think other thing has happened.
Yeah, but you lost by 3.
It's like when we ripped Jake Elliott for losing 2 games this year. If the offense could get the ball moving.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, Jake, believe me, I don't want it to come down to a kick on Sunday.
It might.
Please stop it.
What do we got on the text line? 610-632-0975.
We've got to check in, no name on this text from a texter in PA who says, can you guys please tell a lady named Renee to quit texting me ranting about the Eagles, comic book characters, and Patullo? So someone having fun with that. But we did get a text in from Renee who says, asking Jalen to be Superman isn't accurate. We need him to be efficient. He's 6-3 in the playoffs. As long as we contain Purdy and McCaffrey, convert on third downs, protect the ball in this game, we will be good.
Yeah, again, maybe I'm going too far with saying Superman.
Yeah, you are.
All right. Again, I'll say it once more as to why I said what I had to say. It's unfair that he has to overcome Kevin Patullo. But it's the way that it is, right? That's just the way it is. Like
some things will never change.
Like Jalen Hurts has to overcome what I believe is ineptitude by your offensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts is going to have to throw the football or run it himself, because I do still believe that defenses look at the entire season, will do whatever they can to stop Saquon first. That is the number one task for opposing defenses, is to stop Saquon. It's why going back to the summer, I've been saying this is going to have to be a bigger year to Jalen Hurts. And it really hasn't been, but is it his fault? I can't completely blame him. I think Patullo stinks.
I came out of the eye doctor yesterday, and I'm listening to Unfiltered, and I literally wanted to see if they got glasses differently than I do when they watch the Eagles games. because Bill and Ricky were the defensive Kevin Patullo that was coming across the radio. I couldn't believe it. It was like,
we're still doing that.
Patullo's getting blamed, and the players need to be better and everything like that. There are NFL players, Hall of Famers, over and over again, analysts that will tell you this Eagles offense is poorly designed. They're being put in poor positions. And if you don't think that Shanahan, McVay, or one of these LaFleur would take these same players and get 27 points a game out of them, I think you're nuts.
Yeah, those Sunday dinners must be a good time in the Colarulo
Yeah, but
household.
you know what, though? Ricky's getting invited now. So Ricky's getting invited because he was sitting there. He was defending.
He's got a Val at the end.
He was defending Kevin Patullo more than Bill was. He was.
By the way, there was a fight on Unfiltered yesterday over meatball preparation. Did you guys see the Vic Fangio story? Will that be in headlines?
I haven't seen it, but maybe.
Use it
Over
for headlines.
meatball preparation?
Okay.
Hide
Making my
this, because
job
I did
easier.
not hear it either.
Vic Fangio's
I didn't hear it either, so that's
meatballs.
good.
All right.
It's good.
Save
So
it for
hide
headlines. That
There you
comes your
go.
way around 7:47. All right, coming up next, Nick Sirianni on Hard Knocks, because the NFC East Hard Knocks continues. What did he really want to happen this past Sunday against the Commanders? Did the results benefit them? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Health trending in different directions. I'm Connor Thomas, and we got the first injury report of the week yesterday ahead of the Eagles matchup with the 49ers Sunday, 4:30 p.m. from Lincoln Financial Field in the wild card round of the NFC postseason. Both Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean were back at practice for the Birds in a limited capacity. Good news for them. On the Niners side, though, both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice. So health going in different directions for the team. Jalen Hurts, he's headed in one direction, making sure that he's ready to try and lead this team to another championship. And he was asked yesterday about his mentality and how he's been able to perform in big games.
This is not a participation.
Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
Yes, in you.
I'm just answering your question.
Pretty simple answer there from Jalen, but hey, he's proven that in his play over the past couple of postseasons. We'll keep you updated on everything out of the big game. Sixers beat the Wizards 131-110 last night. Nice bounce-back win for them. They're off till Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco joins us starting in the 8 o'clock hour. This update's brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew and Ricky Bo this Sunday at 4:30 for the Birds Playoff Watch Party in New Deck Tavern, the official 97.5 The Fanatic Watch Party location. $5 Corona Extra and $5 Modelo Drafts. Giveaways and exclusive Go Birds tees sponsored by Corona. La Playa awaits. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It is 7:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up, wait a little bit, like 10 minutes. There was something that was accomplished that I don't think no human being should be able to accomplish. I'll tell you more coming up in a little bit.
Interesting.
I have not, you guys know this, I have not watched a single second other than clips that are posted of Hard Knocks, the in-season Hard Knocks. I thought I was going to be excited for it. It was bad that the first episode came off one of the worst losses, that loss to the Bears. I couldn't do it to myself.
I did 2 episodes,
It's why,
and I'm out.
And I knew you guys would watch, so I allowed you guys to do all the work for the show, and I appreciated you. But you have not been. You've
2
been,
episodes, and I was out because it was the most boring thing I've ever seen.
Connor,
I made it through one.
you made it through
It
one.
was so boring.
1.5. I think I watched a little bit.
There was nothing intriguing, nothing
Yeah.
interesting, and it's been completely sanitized.
I'm a clip guy. Whoever posts the clips, I appreciate all of you.
Oh, Mr. Get Mad when his coworker sees clips of him is a clip guy.
What?
Well, you have a fight like once a week with someone on like Unfiltered or Middays who sees a clip of you and asks you about your opinion, and then.
Well, no, there's context to it.
I know there
context
is.
to opinion, Connor.
There's context to clips.
Not really. Anyways, we'll move past that one. Here was Nick Sirianni on Hard Knocks. He was addressing the team before the game against the Commanders, and here he was sort of giving them the plan, the agenda they had going into Week 18.
There are going to be some guys that are going to be ready to play and dressed, but may not go in. There are going to be some guys that are playing but very limited. Then there are some guys that are out, whether it's from an injury, right, or Jalen Phillips hasn't had a bye week yet. He's played 17 games already, right? Some of you guys are going to have a great opportunity to play more than you have. And make no mistake about it, we're going out there to win this f***ing game. We're going out there to win this f***ing game.
And they did not, as we know. But Nick Sirianni was going to – he knew all along what he wanted to do, and they were going to still go out there to win this bleeping game. We know that did not happen. Now, you are wondering if maybe the result actually benefited the Eagles, as upset as you were when it was first announced, and as upset as you were.
I still am. I still think it's stupid.
As upset as you were Monday after the doomsday scenario. Yeah, you're wondering, did this benefit them?
Well, they're going to be just even the lines. Go by Vegas lines. They're saying if they had to play the Bears, they would be favored on the road. If they had to play the Rams, the odds makers say the Rams would be favored at home while the Eagles are at home, which is strange. But also, too, the Eagles' defense has been far better on the road than it's been at home. And that's weird to me. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Because you remember in, like, the whole Doug Peterson era, they played better. The Eagles' defense at home was staggering.
Yeah.
They had the one year where they gave up 9 points at home under Jim Schwartz. They had a 9-point home defense. It was awesome. But the Eagles' defense is better on the road than it is at home. And I wonder if they actually look. I'm sure they look.
How drastically different?
It's different. I mean, the Eagles are a good road defense.
Their road games this year. I'll just go from start to finish. You go to Arrowhead in week 2, and the Chiefs only score 17 points. They go to Tampa and they give up 25. That was one of the two.
And that was they were
games.
blowing, and they were.
Yeah,
well, the
and
thing
the
is,
Eagles,
though, they were blowing them out.
And the Eagles' offense couldn't figure out how to get first downs, which that's kind of been consistent since September.
And I remember that game too. They had the big lead, and then they were, that game sort of in the heat. They were blowing them.
There was the debacle against the Giants where they allowed 34 points, but then after that, 22 in Minnesota, 7 in Green Bay, 24 in Dallas, 22 in Chicago, 18 against the Commanders in D.C., and then, of course, the 12-point performance against the Bills in Buffalo.
They're one of the few playoff teams of the 14 that are better on the road than they are at home.
So they did it on purpose.
No.
I'm kidding.
I think if we got to take out if you're taking out Week 18, but still, I mean, it's just an interesting thing is that it shows me that Nick Sirianni and the crew and how much they study stuff, they're not worried about playing on the road.
Right, and you can't
And
say
I think that's not.
you
I
can't
think
say
it's
that
nuts.
the road schedule is easier than the home schedule. They played really good teams on the road.
They did. I just tell me that you can't tell me how important home field advantage is in other situations and now expect me to get amnesia about that. That they always tell you how great playing in South Philly is. It's so important in front of our home crowd, and we get the crowd noise and everything going for us, and then be like, oh, well, we're going to forget all that. We don't care about it now. So to me, that's one thing, but maybe they prefer it.
Couple things. First, give me a text message, and then I got to tell you the thing that no human should be able to do. And people are concerned for you, John.
Why are they concerned?
Well, what do we got on the text line?
Sean checks in and says Jalen just needs to be Jalen. He doesn't have to throw for 300 yards. Just make smart throws, throw it away when needed, and don't force passes. Let Hurts run the ball a little bit more to keep the defense honest, and we're going to be okay.
Yeah, if he runs the football more, it's going to help this Eagles offense.
It's gonna make you happy.
There's no question. Yeah, it makes me happy.
Makes Connor and I happy. Both of us want to see
Because then
that
it helps
too.
Saquon.
I want the designed runs, though.
Yeah, I got you.
I don't want the scramble stuff. And I don't want we had a texter earlier. I want the runs north and south. I want the design runs. I don't want this stretch run crap and the running sideline to sideline and getting 1 yard. You know, have Jalen running 12 yards to gain 1.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that.
I hear you. All right, we are on YouTube. You can watch the show on YouTube any day. Just search 97.5 The Fanatic on YouTube. We have a great YouTube community that's a part of us, part of the show every single day. They're worried about you because they see the
Why are they worried about me?
the bandage.
Oh, I went to the dermatologist yesterday. Had upstairs we got great dermatologists. Ballad Dermatology, by the way. They're awesome.
Yep.
Had one of our listeners, and we joked about it off the air. One of our listeners said, who I guess thought they were, or is a doctor of skin, was
And they watch on YouTube.
had said, John, when you go to the dermatologist, have them check that mole on your forehead. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't have a mole. It was like a what do you call skin mark? She goes, that's not a mole. It's like a skin
from the sun
thing. So she goes, yeah, that was from your summers down the shore when you were in your 20s.
But they're worried about you.
And so they did. So she took it off yesterday, and she said, keep it covered up for a few days. And then she said it's going to fall off. Now, because it comes out from under the skin and they free.
Yeah.
And she says it's going to, within 3 days or so, it will just fall off. I said, okay, that's gross.
You basically you were paid, because we do get paid to do this job, believe it or not.
Right.
You were paid for a telehealth visit because you had a dermatologist watch the show on YouTube.
And said, make sure you get that checked out.
That's actually pretty cool.
Now, what was great is,
Are there any therapists that watch the show and can tell us what's wrong with me?
Please. What was great is
John.
She looked at it immediately and she said, yeah, there's nothing to worry about with it. I can tell. I guess they can tell. I don't realize this stuff. They can tell by the color, the shape, and that it wasn't above, that it was flat. She goes, yeah, there's nothing to worry about with it. But she goes, let's take it off, though.
I think therapists would have field days with us, man.
Oh, my gosh, they would.
Incredible.
Yeah,
All
but
right.
I don't.
Did you guys see what Victor Wembanyama did?
Yeah.
I did not.
So, in case you guys did not see it, no human should be able to do this. Victor Wembanyama, before the Spurs game the other night, like 3 or 4 players shot the basketball at the same time during warm-ups, and it all went in at the same time. And then they all got stuck in the net.
They all went, like, you're talking they just got clogged,
in the net.
Okay.
So, you would think, oh, well, Wemby's like 7'500". He can just get it with his hands and bring it down, right? He said, I'll do you one better. I'm going to kick the balls out of the net. The rim is 10 feet off the ground. Now you get a couple inches off, so maybe we're talking 9.5 feet off the ground.
Okay.
Wembanyama was able to kick the balls out of the net. So I was amazed by that.
How did he land?
Let me go one step further. Did you see the other angle?
No, I only saw the one.
He never took his other foot off the ground.
What?
He didn't jump. It wasn't a, Jackie Chan jump, kick, flying kick.
Yeah, but how?
He's that long. That's how. He literally put his left foot tiptoe and raised his right leg, and with a little bit of momentum, maybe he got his left foot off the ground like a centimeter, was able to get his foot to the net, which is 9.5 feet.
So he got
up
like the
off
lowest
ground,
one.
and got them all to fall out. I don't think a human should be able to do that.
That's incredible. Now that's Superman.
I went to the game when Embiid scored 70. I've told this story before. I went to see Wemby.
Right.
I did not, obviously I was going to go cheer on the Sixers, but I wanted to see Wemby in person, and then I ended up getting a 70-point performance out of Joel Embiid. It was great. Before Wemby goes back onto the court, you know how soccer players run behind the net? They warm up before they go out onto the pitch?
Yeah.
Wemby does that. And you know how the net comes, it's further back, and then it comes up, and then it goes over the court. He was just running, touching the top of the net. That was his warm-up before going back. He's an alien. He's not a real person.
He's a far better basketball player in the NBA than I thought he was going to be. I was absolutely wrong.
He's everything is advertised and more.
Absolutely wrong. I thought he was going to be a good NBA player. I did not think he was going to be a dominant NBA player. But my worst take of all time, maybe in all of sports coming out of college, I thought Tim Duncan was going to be a bust. And I said, bust.
Yeah, that's a bad take.
I thought he was going to come out of Wake. I was like, oh, man.
From bust to Hall of Fame.
He is going to be a bust. Great basketball analysis, baby. That was a winner.
He's not real.
No, he's fantastic.
Victor Wembanyama.
He's fantastic to watch.
Good Stranger Things reference by Go Birds, calling him a Demogorgon. Ryan says Wemby could do a full split, so he did a little jumping front kick to get a toe on the ball. He's definitely an alien. Yeah, he's not real. I don't believe it. All right, coming up next, we have today's headlines with Connor Thomas. But also, before we do that, do we have to remove one of the predictions? We have the running tally on non-Eagles or Niners people.
Right.
We may have to remove one because I read something so egregious this morning.
Well, they've been so bad. The analysis has been terrible.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, the Fanatic. All right, well, speaking of the Eagles-Niners game, it's this Sunday at 4:30. And, you could watch it at home. Maybe some of you are fortunate enough to have tickets to go to the game. But if you're looking for a spot to watch the game, why not do it with me and Ricky Batalico? And Ricky Batalico promises that he will not throw anything to knock your beer over and spill it on you, like we did with Ray and the coffee earlier this week. Ricky and I will be at the New Deck Tavern, an awesome spot, a spot that I've done many appearances at through the Fanatic. I also made many appearances when my sister was in college at Drexel. It's a great spot, 34th and Sansom. It's the official 97.5 The Fanatic watch party location. Me and Ricky, 4:30 kickoff. Might be freezing outside, but inside the New Deck Tavern, Corona will be bringing the beach vibes to game day. Enjoy $5 Corona extras, $5 Modelo drafts all game long. Eagles playoff football, we know, is not for the faint of heart. All right, Week 1 is as stressful as the first round of the playoffs. When the game gets intense, that's when Corona steps in. Take a breather, kick back, reset with ice cold Corona while soaking in those easygoing beach vibes even in January. Plus, we'll be giving away exclusive football prizes and limited edition Fanatic Corona Kelly Green Go Birds t-shirts. I love that. You can only get them at the watch party, by the way. New Deck Tavern has wall-to-wall TVs, a killer menu, and a crowd that brings energy from kickoff to the final whistle. So grab your crew, escape the cold, and join us this weekend. New Deck Tavern, the official Fanatic watch party location, sponsored by Corona. La Playa awaits. was able to kick the basketball, and somebody's complaining, well, he only got the bottom ball out. What? I want you to jump and try to touch the net. And we're complaining about how I told the story.
No, it's incredible.
My God, it was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. He is an alien.
No, that's incredible.
God, you find a thing to complain about every day.
That's incredible.
First day on the planet?
My God. All right.
Welcome to social media. Have you not introduced yourself?
Yeah, I hear you. Yesterday, you were not thrilled with the Solak, Ben Solak from ESPN.
It was ridiculous.
It
was horrible analysis.
Well, the one thing you didn't like was the Eagles good on third and fourth down.
The one thing I didn't like, it was the major point that he made to make his point. The major point. He's on a major network. He's getting paid.
No, that wasn't his major point. His major because he picked the Niners. That was not his major point.
I know, but he said no, the major point he said in his discussion, he can't go on a major network where he has to do a 45-second soundbite and say something that is so completely non-factual that it makes no sense. I can't listen to the rest of what you say, dude.
Well, the reason why we might have to take his pick out, and it's not for that reason,
is what?
The way you're reacting to that is crazy.
It
was one little part of the clip.
It's not a little part.
Whatever.
That'd be like saying if someone came on today and said on SportsCenter or said on thing, yeah, this Kevin Patullo offense has been fantastic this year. It's the same thing, Andrew. It's factually incorrect. Right. It is completely false what he said.
Right.
And that deserves to be ripped.
So he wrote an article for ESPN.com about the 3 elite defenses in the NFL playoffs and how they can dominate the playoff field. The 3 elite defenses, Houston, I don't disagree. Denver, I don't disagree. Seattle, I don't disagree. Why stop at 3? How can you write an article about the elite defenses in the playoffs and not have the Eagles? How can you?
Shouldn't be able to.
You're a guy who has not done your homework?
Well,
you're a guy who has not done your homework. There's your answer.
No, he acknowledged the Eagles' defense in the clip that we played yesterday. I just don't know how you can write an article about the elite defenses in the playoffs.
Okay.
And keep it at 3. I don't disagree that those 3 defenses are elite, but to say the 3 elite defenses and not include the Eagles as a 4th
and
or one of the 4.
The Eagles are statistically there with all those teams. Again, not doing your homework.
All right. So do we take his?
He's terrible. He is terrible. Or he is bad at. He comes to. I think he's like a lot of young journalists today. They come to an idea, and then they write backwards. They come up with their thought, and then they just write backwards. They just find stuff that supports their opinion instead of researching a topic and having that research give them the answer.
Well, the article is very well researched. It's just he misses a clear. You can't write that article and not have a 4th team.
Well, that's the idea.
And it'd be one of the best defenses.
He went in with a premise. He went in and then had a bunch of stuff to support his premise. He didn't go in, obviously, researching and going, wait a minute. I couldn't write this and not have the Eagles in it because the Eagles are every bit as good as those teams.
Eagles in there. All right, time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. If you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Visit LundyLaw.com. That's LundyLaw.com. We'll start off with a game you guys already mentioned. Sixers taking a win last night. Here was the final call here on the Fanatic.
18 seconds remaining. What is that? Oh, that's that song they play. The 76ers by 21, and the crowd reveling in the home victory here for the Sixers.
And it was a special win 2 years plus in the making. Did you guys hear why last night was so special for the Philadelphia 76ers? It is the first time since a game in 2023 where they had nobody on the injury report.
Wow.
That is fantastic.
Not even like a questionable.
Nope, no one on the injury report.
That? And I knocked on wood earlier. I said, man, it's been nice to see the trio. They've played 5 straight games together. Look, I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be that way forever. Like, they're going to do load management. Like, that's happening. B, somebody's going to tweak something. It happens in the NBA even to the healthiest of teams. But it's been nice to see. Like, I've cherished it.
It certainly has. Just feels like, man, we're in 2026 now. It's been that long, but hey, good for them.
I want to see Nick Nurse. I want to see Nick Nurse allowed to cook with a full roster.
Yeah, they've won 5 of their last 6.
That's great.
Hey, a little heat there in the winter sports. We also have this we got a couple guest stories. This one's from Johnny, who sent it to me about Matt Strom, who had some interesting comments with Eric Kratz on Foul Territory about butting heads with organizations throughout his career.
I kind of gave JJ a little hard time. I said, you guys ran such a great organization that seemed to butt heads everywhere I went.
You said, I've butted heads everywhere I've went. What do you mean you butted heads?
I mean, I'll just say the Kansas City Royals do an unbelievable job of not only producing major league athletes, but they produce men. Dayton Moore, his whole thing was, we're going to have good ball players, but we're going to first make sure you guys are good men. They do it the right way. 10:30 ground balls mean Rusty Kuntz was hitting that fungo at 10:30. It wasn't 10:35 because we're waiting on Hosmer. Hosmer was there 5 minutes early. I am a very routine human being. I love structure. Structure doesn't work unless there's discipline or someone enforcing the structure.
Johnny, you said it to me. Your thoughts first.
I think it's obvious that the structure in Matt Strom's mind was not here. Simple. Was not here.
Can I also call him a hypocrite?
Why?
Wasn't he the one that said we didn't practice certain things? And then everybody.
Other players said, no, we did in the postseason.
And the reporters also said, yeah, no, they did. Strom wasn't there. Mr. Structure wasn't there.
He is a guy, though, that has never been questioned as far as being a hard worker.
No, look.
He is a guy that puts it early to arrive,
Phillies
put
have
in
their
his work.
issues, but let's not act
Phillies,
like I love structure. And then it's reported by everybody that they did do those exercises, and he was the one not there. So don't push structure on me.
The Phillies are not known as
structure yourself.
The Phillies are not known as a, let's just say, a tough, strict organization.
I know. I'm just saying, let's not act like it's literally documented that they did practice the ground ball drills, and Strom did not. So he's all about structure.
Yeah, I think that's one moment in a long career of baseball, and the Phillies, as an organization, not exactly. It's a little different. They run things a little different.
Yeah, they've been winning games.
Yeah, games.
All right, coming up next. It's a Thursday. Our man Andrew DeCecco joins us for the final 2 hours of today's show. I'm curious how he feels about the Eagles' defense versus Niners' offense. And other than Shanahan, what are you scared of? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Lane back at practice. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news on the injury report yesterday as both Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean were back at practice in a limited capacity. So the Birds are trending towards being healthy for their wild card matchup with the 49ers Sunday 4:30 at the Link. San Fran, not necessarily trending towards being healthy. Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall both did not practice yesterday for them, so something to keep an eye on. Jalen Hurts met with the media yesterday. He talked about his mentality heading into the postseason.
Every year is different, but it's always the same goal. You know, if you don't have that mentality, then, you know, you're not in the right place. Ultimately, it's just coming in, treating every year as its own year, but also knowing exactly what we're playing for and putting ourselves in positions to play for championships.
Last year, they were able to accomplish that and win it all. This year, well, the journey starts on Sunday, and we'll see if the Eagles are up for the task for a second straight postseason. We'll keep you updated on everything ahead of the big game. Sixers took down the Wizards 131-110 last night. They had 7 players in double figures. Entire roster healthy for the Sixers. They're off until Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Coming up next, Andrew DeCecco joins the guys for the rest of the show. This update is brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Save up to $30 on auto repair with the AAA Triple Play. Only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer valid through January 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
bases, check out youtube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
It is the Thursday of Wild Card Week. Can I call it weekend at this point?
It's Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, but it's Thursday, so Thursday counts as the weekend.
We're getting there close. Yeah, we're getting close.
And, of course, Thursdays during the football season, we know that we are always joined for the final 2 hours of the show where we get to put our feet up. The great Andrew DeCecco. Andrew, good morning.
What's up, guys? How you doing? It's my favorite week of the postseason.
All right,
I just
it's your favorite
love
week of the postseason, but I need to see if you agree with me. It's also sad because you know it's almost over.
Yeah, of course. I look at every week as an opportunity, and I look around the NFL. There's so many other beat writers who are covering locker room cleanouts, and here we have a great opportunity here to cover a wild card game and potentially a long postseason run.
How do you feel today, Thursday before Wild Card Weekend, compared to last year?
You know, I feel pretty good about this particular matchup, John. I really do. And as far as where it goes from there, this year, if you're a team that's sort of uneven, if you will, I believe that this gives you the best opportunity to take advantage of that.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. All
right, so, Andrew, earlier in the show, because I wanted to do this before the real football guy came into the show. I was talking about this Eagles defense and their matchup with the San Francisco 49ers offense. Now, first and foremost, Kyle Shanahan scares the hell out of me. It doesn't matter what week. This isn't just because it's the playoffs. Like, Kyle, it's the San Francisco Shanahans. That's what I call them. I don't even call them the 49ers. With all due respect to that organization and the history of it, this version of San Francisco is the Shanahans. Brock Purdy, Mac Jones, Andrew DeCecco, doesn't matter. You're going to move the ball downfield, and you're going to get in a scoring position. Shanahan aside, everybody that covers the 49ers has talked about how the offensive line is one of their biggest issues, especially with the uncertainty of Trent Williams, right? So that benefits the Eagles' defensive line that is already elite, and they don't struggle against good offensive lines. They're a very good defensive line. Whether it's pass rush, run stuffing, they're very good. So that benefits the Eagles, number one. Number two, you know if defenses are getting to quarterbacks, what do offenses do? They try to get the ball out quick, try to protect the quarterback. I have Cooper DeJean, I have Zach Bond, I have Nakobe Dean, I have Jahad Campbell, whoever gets the majority of the snaps, there to help that middle of the field or the flat to try to stop the 49ers from getting those chunk yards in checkdowns. Because Brock Purdy, when uncomfortable, is a checkdown Charlie, and that's okay because it keeps the ball moving downfield. If they try to go over the top with the little time that he has, not a single receiver on that team scares me, right? There's no Jerry Rice. There's no Brandon Ayuk before the injury. It's Ricky Pearsall, who I like.
Yeah.
It's Kendrick Bourne, who's a guy.
Jawan Jennings.
And it's Jawan Jennings, who, sure, he's played well ever since Samuel and Ayuk left, but he was a number 3 for a reason on that football team.
Yeah, he's really a 2 at best, probably best suited to be a 3.
So when I break it down, other than Shanahan, I look at this team, I go, all right, McCaffrey's scary, but I have the defense that goes up against a running back like that. And George Kittle's scary, but I have the defense that goes up against a tight end.
Right, but I still think you need to be mindful of Christian McCaffrey, knowing that he can hurt you as a receiver and as a runner. But this Eagles team's a very good tackling team.
Yeah.
They mastered the fundamentals, and they're really good at tackling in the open field, and that's where Christian McCaffrey is able to kind of make his money and be able to elude defenders and things like that. But I think that plays into the Eagles' strengths. The Eagles have also done a really nice job this season. You go back to any game defending tight ends.
Yeah.
Now, George Kittle's somebody who, if they're able to dump it off to him, he does. If he's able to pick up a full head of steam, he might be able to give you a first down or two, and he's always going to be a factor in the red zone. So you have to be mindful where he is, because while they've done a really nice job against tight ends, George Kittle is among the NFL's best. So that's somebody that I think it's fair to have a little bit of concern about. But you're right. By and large, this Eagles defense should be able to erase a lot of what San Francisco can do offensively. And then you also have to be mindful of the quarterback running element with Brock Purdy, because as good as this defense is, when they have had their sticking points, it's typically been when you have a mobile quarterback. But I know that Vic Fangio is going to be mindful of that as well.
Doing a couple hits out in San Francisco with some of their media about this upcoming game. They keep talking about how a Kyle Shanahan offense is completely different without the deep threat, without the threat to stretch the field, and that they've seen an incredibly different-looking offense without it. how much does that, not only that being missing, but also with this Eagles back end of this defense, just maybe make this a really favorable matchup?
Yeah, and that's a great point, because what I've noticed this season is that it is a much more compressed offense, right? You don't have the vertical element to stretch defenses and keep them honest. And so you look at the receiving core and the Eagles' defensive backs and the pass rush. I think this is a game where you worry about what's in front of you. You don't worry about so much about what's going to potentially go over your head. And I think this favors someone like Adoree Jackson as well, because I don't know that this is the team that's going to be able to try to isolate Adoree and take advantage of that matchup, because they just don't have enough skill players there. So I think there's a lot to be said for that, John, that they don't have that vertical element to really put a stress on a defense.
All right, here's the deal. We have something really special for you guys today and tomorrow. Today, we're going to do a Know the Show 8 o'clock edition and a Know the Show 9 o'clock edition. If you are going to the game on Sunday, or if you're just looking for a place to party beforehand, before you get to wherever it is that you're going to watch, we have 2 pairs today and tomorrow of passes for the True Fan Travel tailgate before the Eagles-Niners game kicks off at 4:30. Johnny, you and I have both
they're so much fun.
Hosted, but also attended as just fans of the True Fan Travel tailgate. They do such a great job. Birds are back in the playoffs. Party starts before kickoff. True Fan Tailgate. Join the Fanatic this Sunday, January 11th from 12:30 to 3:30 for the ultimate pregame experience. Irving Fryer will be there.
Really? That's good.
Fit Dad CEO is going to be there,
Is he
Johnny.
going to be there?
He's going to be there. E-Rock, of course, doing a tremendous job with DJing. There's actually going to be a live band there as well. And the food is always tremendous.
E-Rock's not singing, though. He's just going to DJ.
I think he'll just DJ.
Okay, good.
Unlimited food and drinks, Philly-style favorites like filet mignon sandwiches, which
they're awesome.
Are one of the best things I've had at a tailgate in my life. Like a filet mignon
It adds
sandwich.
a class level to a tailgate that's you're not going to find when you're tailgating out of your trunk.
Exactly.
Yeah, hard to top that.
No, it's delicious. And they got the sausage and
How
peppers.
about that?
They have seafood. They have burgers. Incredible atmosphere. And if you don't win, you can always go online to phillysportstrips.com and buy tickets. And proceeds of the portion of the proceeds go to the Eagles Autism Foundation, which is tremendous. So we have a pair to give away in the 8 o'clock hour by playing Know the Show, a pair to give away in the 9 o'clock hour, and we'll also do 2 pairs tomorrow for the True Fan Travel Tailgate. It's such a great job. Vince and his team are amazing, and it's always a great place to hang out before the game starts. All right, so I said something earlier today. I was going to save it for later, but I want to get to it now. And it might be unfair, Andrew, but life isn't fair sometimes, and I also believe that Kevin Patullo has been unfair for the Eagles. You know that this show is finger-pointed a lot more than you and a lot earlier, but the last couple of weeks you have looked at the second half of the Bills game and questionable decisions against the Commanders, play calling. And you're not saying it's all on Patullo, but it was the first time where I heard you be like, yeah, it was pretty bad out of the offensive coordinator.
That just goes to show you that I noticed that in that game where it wasn't necessarily executional lapses as much as it was sequencing and different things like that.
Right.
I call it like I see it.
Yeah, you always do. You're always consistent, and the fact that you start pointing it out, I go, all right, well, yeah, we both think it's been a problem pretty much all season. So I don't think the Eagles are going to have to score 30 points in like any playoff game to win. If they are to get
if
to
you're
the
talking about, you're talking about the NFC side.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Like I think the defense is that good, but I do believe. I said this earlier, and I know that it's unfair, that Jalen Hurts is going to have to be his version of Superman. And by his version, I don't mean 350 yards passing. I mean like 225, 250, and his 50 to 60 yards on the ground. He's going to have to run the football in the playoffs. He can't just not run the ball, which has been a problem this season. I think it's unfair to say that because I think Jalen Hurts has to overcome some issues with the play caller. However, he's the franchise quarterback. And lastly, I've seen him do it, so I know that he can do it. Is it unfair to put more weight on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts this upcoming playoff?
No, because I think if you ask Jalen, he welcomes it, right? This is something that he relishes, the postseason, when the lights are brightest. And I think yesterday he said, it's in you when asked about how you elevate your performance on the grandest of stages. I would say that Saquon Barkley, to your point, needs to be Superman, more or less, because this is what the Eagles want to do. This is the version of Nick Sirianni's offense. This is how he sort of illustrated it going into the season. He wants it to be a run-first attack. You sat your offensive lineman for a week, so in a perfect world, they're going to be healthier and be able to kind of help boost the running game, and that opens up everything else offensively, and it alleviates some pressure from Jalen Hurts and the play calling aspect of things. And I will also add this: if you look at all the offensive coordinators that have been in their roles under Nick Sirianni, Kevin Patullo is the only coordinator who hasn't had a dominant running game to sort of hang his hat on. So I think the offense would look a lot more similar had they had that Saquon Barkley type of
now the
outburst.
reason why I say Superman is because I don't think Saquon can be Superman.
Why?
Because he's going to get hit 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage a lot of times. You know it. Defenses are. What is Robert Saleh game planning for this week? What's the first thing he wants to take away from the Eagles?
Yeah, they want to take away the running game.
And so if that's what they're going to zero in on, last year when Spags did it, Jalen Hurts was able to throw all over the place, and he did a fine job with that passing attack. I have not seen that passing attack pretty much all season long. There's been a handful of games, handful of moments, but moments aren't going to be good enough in the playoffs. You're going to have to be consistent offensively. Mm-hmm. And if the 49ers or the Rams or the Packers or whoever, Bears, whoever, is going to try to take away Saquon Barkley, it's going to be up to the passing game at times to move the chains. I'm not even saying to score 4 touchdowns, to move the chains.
That's where I don't think the 49ers are up to the challenge. I believe the running game has to show that it's adequate, because the threat of the running game has to be there. The consistent threat of it has to be there, because I don't know how they're going to cover Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, and Dallas Goedert most of all with these linebackers out.
Yeah, we should also mention that they're down to their 4. I think Eric Kendricks and Kaiser White.
Yes. They picked them both up.
Yeah, they lost Tatum Bethune, who's a nice young player for them. Luke Gifford, D. Winters, and, of course, Fred Warner, the best off-ball linebacker in the NFL, is on injured reserve. So this should be the optimal game to get Dallas Goedert going, to take advantage.
Did we say that about the Chicago Bears?
I was just going to say.
We talked about this earlier this year.
I said the same thing going into the Bears game, and they were not able to take advantage. But maybe the second time around. I mean, especially when you're trying to – going in that you want to lean on the running game. You want to get that going, knowing that it unlocks everything else.
Right.
Take advantage of the weakened linebacking core and try to go from there. But I think it really comes down to getting Jalen Hurts early completions in this game. It's incumbent upon Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni to design a game plan where you're getting the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands quickly, whether it's dump-offs to Goddard, those bang 8 routes to A.J. Brown, where you get those easy completions, you're moving the chains, but you're also allowing your quarterback to settle into the flow of the game, because in the playoffs, you get those 3 and outs, and the pressure starts mounting, and that's not a place that you want to be.
Especially in the link, where you can feel it sometimes.
You can feel it.
That's not a place you want to be. So I think the best course of action would be to try to get Jalen into the game, into the mix with some early completions.
I love it's so strange to hear the San Francisco press and to read the San Francisco press. They almost are more complimentary of the Eagles than the Eagles press is. And I think that sometimes, we talk about things that when you're too close to something, you pick out all the little blemishes. But I believe they're more worried about this Eagles offense than Eagle fans believe that it can produce, which is strange to me. They're very worried about their defense being up for this challenge.
And that's fair, especially their front. Their back end I like, but they can be exploited. But I like their secondary. They have 2 young safeties, Malik Mustafa, who I had a really good chat with at the NFL Combine. He flies around. Jair Brown, the former Penn State safety. Diamador Lenore is an interesting player who's not the biggest guy, but he's willing to mix it up. So he'll see a lot of A.J. Brown, Upton Stout. He's about a 5'8" nickel corner that they have, and he's really good at tackling, plays tough. But they are exploitable, and I would expect the Eagles to try and take advantage early in this game.
By the way, Upton Stout's a tremendous name. Like there's football names that just make sense. Upton Stout makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I appreciate a good football name. Alex Leatherwood, that's my favorite.
Leatherwood, yeah.
Lineman out of Bama.
You just didn't like Smallwood. You didn't like that.
Wendell?
didn't like that.
I didn't hate him. He was okay. All right, what do we got in the text line, Connor? 610-632-0975. Our main topic has been, are you going to put more weight on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts, knowing how much this offense has struggled, knowing that the offensive coordinator has been a bit of an issue this year? Jalen Hurts might have to overcome it, especially if defenses will continue, which I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon, to have their number one task to stop Saquon Barkley. What do we got on the text line, Connor?
Colby in Central PA checks in, says, I don't need Hurts to be Superman. I need a better offensive line. The big uglies need to give Hurts time to throw in a cohesive running game. The defense will take care of business, and we'll walk out with a win.
Now here's my thing. We keep on saying, I need a better this. I need a better that. It's not going to get better.
Well,
that's the point that
you say that definitively.
January 8th.
I understand. But you never, and nobody could have seen NFC title games, Super Bowl performances coming. Nobody predicted them. Nobody called for it.
Well, beatdowns, no, but I felt good about those games.
You didn't feel 55
But you didn't
points.
see it coming. So you can't be so definitive with it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think the big...
It's the same people.
Okay.
It's the same people.
Yeah, and I think to John's point, the big talking point going into the postseason last year was, can the Eagles throw the football? Can they win throwing the football if they have to? And I think they answered those questions. So there's been these similar type of questions entering the postseason. And to John's point, it's not like they're flipping a switch per se,
right?
But they're just more so refining certain areas and a little more razzle-dazzle in the postseason.
I think a lot of it's my personal feeling. Like last year, I felt we were talking about my man John's making reservations in December for GW fans, and I didn't say yo, don't do that. I agreed with him.
Sure.
I was like, they're going to go to the NFC Championship game.
That was December 1st. I said they're going to the Super Bowl.
I thought they were destined for an NFC Championship appearance in Detroit. Then as soon as I saw the Commanders beat the Lions, it was over. I knew the Eagles were going to the Super Bowl. I don't have that feeling at all this year, and that's what sucks the most. That's why I am definitive in some of the statements. Could I be wrong? Absolutely, I could be wrong. But last year, I felt so confident
I remember,
that they didn't have to throw the football. I was ripping Alex Smith. Oh, man, it might be good enough to get them to the Super Bowl. And I laughed. Like, what do you mean good enough to get you to the Super Bowl? As if well, they only got there. Like, to me, there was a lot of nonsense that was being spewed last year. I don't think being worried about the offense is nonsense.
But do you, knowing that the NFC playoff picture is a little bit more even than it has been in recent years, does that give you any comfort? Does that quell any of your concerns?
I think I like their chances a lot this weekend. So there is a path. There's a potential path, right? Like what if the
Bears lose to the Packers?
Which I'm actually picking Green Bay.
By the way,
really want the Rams.
If the Bears lose to the Packers, the path to a Super Bowl, to me, gets a lot easier. Like, it's a lot easier. If you tell me the next week we're sitting here with DeCecco and we're talking about a trip to Chicago or we're talking about a home game, I feel much more confident talking about a home game.
I would, if I'm the Eagles, I would prefer to go to Chicago.
That's what I think.
But either way, you should feel pretty comfortable with either scenario. But I think the easier path would be to, the Bears win that game, the Eagles go to Chicago, and
so
they face them for their second time this season.
We did this, I think it was earlier this week, because it was once we found out what the seedings were. There's two scenarios, or I gave two scenarios. You had to pick one. Eagles go to Chicago in round 2.
Right.
Rams go to Seattle. Rams win. Eagles win. NFC Championship game back here in Philadelphia. Or the other scenario, Eagles face the Rams in round 2 at home, and then you hope, Green Bay beats Seattle. Which one would you rather have? Round 2 at home, Rams, or round 2 road Bears?
Round 2 road Bears.
That's where
because you do believe. I think you do believe. Look, we saw it. The Rams were up 16 points on Seattle with 7 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And blew the game in Seattle.
Yes. Yeah.
They blew.
Yeah, they blew it.
They were blowing their doors off.
There is a world where the NFC Championship game is in Philadelphia.
There is.
Like there is a world where that's a possibility. And if that happens, as scared as I am of the Rams, like, all right, let's go. One game. NFC Championship game. Like, let's go.
I gotta wonder though what a playoff win does for Caleb Williams at home this weekend. If Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson win that game,
right? Because that's been a knock
Green
on them.
Bay, and they go and win that game, and Ben Johnson gets his first win as a head coach in the playoffs, and Caleb Williams gets his first win as a quarterback in the NFL at home. I got to wonder if that flipped a switch for them of confidence.
Oh, it'll boost their confidence for sure.
They
but
have no fear they shouldn't have any fear of the Eagles, the way they played the Eagles head-to-head.
No, but knowing that they rushed for 281 yards on Black Friday, you have to go into it with the understanding that Vic Fangio is going to take drastic measures to ensure that doesn't happen again. And then they're going to ask Caleb Williams, they're going to force Caleb Williams to move the football with his arm. And that's where I think the Eagles' pass rush would really thrive. Vic Fangio would throw different things at Caleb Williams that he hasn't seen before. And I think you like his chances going up against the Bears a second time than as opposed to, facing the Rams.
All right. As I mentioned earlier, 8 o'clock hour, know the show, 9 o'clock hour, know the show. So something will be said in this hour. You get the answer right, you will be going to the True Fan Travel tailgate before the Eagles take on the Niners this Sunday. It's a 12:30 to 3:30 tailgate, 3-hour tailgate for you to get fired up for the game. Of course, listen to when we give you the question. Coming up next, do the 49ers have any advantages? We'll ask Andrew DeCecco, who has been breaking down this matchup all week long. Where do the Niners have any edge? Also, meatballs are the reason why the Eagles' defense is that good. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Niners with some injury issues. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles, well, they've got some good news on the injury report yesterday. Both Lane Johnson and Nakobe Dean were back at practice in a limited capacity. So, Birds are trending towards being healthy for their wild card matchup with the Niners Sunday 4:30 at the Link. But San Francisco does not necessarily have that same luxury. Both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice yesterday. Those are guys to watch as we move closer to the big game. For Jalen Hurts, he was asked yesterday in his media availability, how do you keep performing so well in big games?
Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
Yes, in you.
I'm just answering your question.
Well, he answered that question yesterday. He also answered that question last year and in 2022. He's been great in the postseason. We'll see if he can do that again this time around. We'll keep you updated on everything ahead of Eagles-Niners this week. The Sixers took down the Wizards 131-110 last night. They're off until Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco is with us for the remainder of the show. This update's brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew and Ricky Bo this Sunday at 4:30 for the Birds Playoff Watch Party at New Deck Tavern, the official 97.5 The Fanatic Watch Party location. $5 Corona Extra and $5 Modelo drafts. Giveaways and exclusive Go Birds tees sponsored by Corona. La Playa awaits. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Andrew, John, Connor, Kincade and Salciunas. Philly Sports Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is 8:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic, and we're joined by our man Andrew DeCecco for the remainder of the show today. By the way, if you're looking for a spot to watch the game, you can't sit with John and Andrew in the press box. But you're
not allowed to.
But you can watch the game with me and Ricky Bowe this Sunday at the New Deck Tavern, 34th and Sansom in University City. I love that spot. It's been a fun place to go to for many, many years. Enjoy $5 Corona extras and Modelo drafts and win exclusive Go Birds t-shirts and Corona merch. Enter on the website, or Insight, for your chance to win a pair of tickets for the 2026. Oh, wow. I did not know this.
What? You don't even read your own stuff?
Well, no.
What is it?
It's not in the live read.
What are you giving away?
We have home tickets for a Birds game next year.
That's
why we got the liner.
fantastic.
There you go.
That is fantastic.
No one told me this.
That is an awesome thing.
All right, go to the events page, 97.5 The Fanatic.
And you get to hang out with you and Ricky Bowe?
And there will be no spillage.
No, there's
I was
going
to say, tell him to keep the stress balls at home so he's not hurling them around the place.
Lids on the drinks.
I appreciate you being on our side that day.
Yes.
I don't know how anybody could be on Ricky's side with that
r-
disaster.
You know how they can.
Ricky's a dear friend, but I'm with you guys on
Because
that.
Ricky's sort of lovable until the blockage. Now Ricky
he's
blocked
blocking
Metallica.
everybody. It's
I
horrible.
didn't even realize that I was. A guy goes to me, he goes, Ricky blocked you. And I went, Ricky didn't block me.
No, he did.
Then I look and I said, Ricky blocked me. I said, what is this, Mean
No,
Girls?
He's on the block
I said,
party,
what is this,
man.
Mean Girls?
All right, before I tell you about this meatball story from the great Tim McManus, do the Niners have any advantages in your mind other than Shanahan? Again, I go back to my soliloquy about the 49ers offense against this Eagles defense. When you break down this game, you get the matchups, you're writing for it, you're talking about it. Where do you see advantages for the San Francisco 49ers? Because I feel like a lot of people are like, yeah, the Eagles are winning this football.
Yeah, I think you look at beyond Kyle Shanahan, who can do some different things with eye candy, and you have to really be disciplined defensively, which shouldn't be a problem for the Eagles defense. I think you look at Robert Saleh, if you're being objective, and he's had success going against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles offense in the past. But, I mean, we're splitting hairs here because I think the only team that could beat the Eagles in this game is the Eagles themselves. And they have to go out there and they have to get out to a fast start and build off of that. And I believe the defense will be able to really bring it home for them.
Knowing that we had DeCecco coming on today, I tried to do a little DeCecco film study, trying to see if I could keep up with him. One of the things I'm impressed with is that Kyle Shanahan usually is leading the league in his teams throw out of run formations and run out of throw formations more than any team. So they keep you off guard. They're not doing that as much. And I guess, is that like almost like a white flag? Like he knows he can't? Or is it that he may be hiding something?
No, because and that's interesting. I'm never of the belief that coaches are hiding something in the regular season because I don't think that I think that would be doing them a disservice. Much like the Eagles, sometimes you hear the conspiracy theories online. They're saving the stuff for the postseason. Well, why would you do that? Why would you do that? That never makes any sense. But I got to tell you guys, I'm really looking forward to seeing Kyle Shanahan versus Vic Fangio because if you look around the modern era, every defense that you see out there has some level of imitation of Vic Fangio. His fingerprints are all over it. His influence has been instrumental. Then you look at Kyle Shanahan. He's the guy that many coaches around the NFL try to emulate from an offensive perspective, and now you have him going head-to-head. I think it's going to be fascinating.
All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? 610-632-0975, and then I tell you the story about Vic Fangio's meatballs.
All right, so we have a question on something that was brought up earlier. You guys kind of brought it up in passing with Jake Elliott, and like if a tight game happens or anything like that. Jason from Runnymede wants to know, would you rather have the Niners kicking a field goal and a game to win, knowing the Eagles have blocked so many this year, or watch Jake trying to win the game with a field goal?
I'll watch Jake.
Yeah.
100%.
Blocking kicks is...
blocking kicks is too low a percentage.
What they've done this year has been incredible. Blocking kicks. It's literally
how much does Clay get credit, and how much does the athletes? And how much do the athletes get credit?
I was just about to say Michael Clay deserves a lot of credit here.
Sure.
And I think special teams kind of gets lost in the mix, and it does for every team, unless there's a mistake. But you also have to give credit to Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and those players, starting players, stars on a team that have bought in and are willing to do whatever it takes to help the team. And you can't say the same thing for every team across the NFL, but here you have guys, Jalen Carter, by the way, playing 80% plus of the defensive snaps, going out there and really embracing that special teams role and trying to conjure ways during the week to take advantage and exploit the special team shortcomings from the opposition.
Goes back to their Georgia days, though. Goes back to Kirby Smart and the Georgia days where everybody, all hands on deck. Don't believe that there's just, a bunch of scribinis on specials. Some of your best players, best athletes can play specials.
We talked. There was an article before the season started. I think it was somebody that covers the league for Fox. I forget who wrote it. Kind of predicting how special teams would be more important this year, not just because of the new kickoff rules, but the way the field goals are now from like 67, 70 yards out. You don't bomb those in the air. It's low trajectory because you're trying to kick it as far as possible. And we have seen, the Eagles have done a tremendous job, but there's been block kicks all over the league. And more teams are following what you're talking about, where they're playing starters on the defensive or on the lineup for the special teams.
Yeah, Cooper DeJean, he plays on kickoff. Nolan Smith has in the past. J-Lux Hunt has in the past. We talked about Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter on the field goal block team. It's just a collective buy-in that you don't often see around the NFL, and that speaks to culture, but also just a willingness to do whatever it takes to put the team in the best position to win the game.
All right, great story from Tim McManus yesterday. So you did not see this or read this?
I did not.
Connor, did you read some
I did.
stuff?
I try to always see Tim's stuff, too.
All right, I told you about it. See, Andrew, you and I read Tim's stuff.
Oh, yeah, I read it. I enjoyed it very much.
Tim, you got some foxhole guys here. So Tim McManus wrote a story.
All right.
About Vic Fangio and his meatballs. So Vic Fangio has a recipe for meatballs that have been passed down generation to generation. His grandparents left Italy for Dunmore back in 1919. Now, it does not say if his grandparents came up with the recipe or if there was another generation ahead that came up with the recipe, but the family members that we know are Vic Fangio's grandparents, and Vic Fangio is 67 years old, so his grandparents, many, many, many moons ago. So they brought the recipe eventually to the United States, and Vic Fangio's mother, Alice, passed it down to Vic. And apparently they're tremendous meatballs. So after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, Fangio hosted the defensive staff at his house, and he cooked for everybody. And you're a big Perry Nickerson fan, who's a defensive back. He's not a coach. He's one of the players.
He's back, by the way. He's on the practice squad. They just re-signed him.
Thank heaven.
He talked about how he heard from the coaching staff that they are, quote, fire. Right?
Fire.
That's what kids are saying these days is fire.
Yeah. I thought that was sort of on the way out, but that's okay.
So Fangio and his defensive staff decided to come up with the Meatball Award. After every game that they win, he cooks up meatballs and gives it to the most deserving player.
Okay, that's pretty
but
awesome.
you have to say how he delivers that, because that is so key.
In the best Vic Fangio way possible, in a brown paper bag.
Wait a minute.
I love it.
They're in a brown paper bag. How do you eat them?
You put them on a plate, and then
but they're not. So
what
does he heat them up and then put them in a brown paper bag? I don't even understand how it works.
It's got pasta. It's got pasta with it too.
Pasta
it has
in the
pasta
bag.
in a brown bag.
It's got the meatball. It's got the sauce, obviously, or the gravy. Right?
Yeah, that's the most Italian thing ever, and I love it.
Somebody has to find out if it's
okay. Tell me about
also in a plastic bag, because the bag would rip. Like you can't just have.
Well, yeah, I mean, marinara sauce is just going to seep through the bottom.
Tell me about. I have to put my word in here.
You want to know about his balls?
I want to know about Vic Fangio, though, the meatball recipe.
Well, he will never give it up.
There are some. There is some public information
because some people. I've been to people's houses that say, "Oh, I make a really good Italian meatball," and it's like just beef, and I'm like, "That's not an Italian meatball."
So his meatballs, and this is what caused the stir on Unfiltered yesterday. His meatballs, according to the public knowledge,
right?
Ground beef, ground pork, Parmesan cheese. Sauce features a combination of tomato puree and tomato paste. Bill took exception to it.
There has to be something else in there, though.
What was the other thing? Ground beef, ground pork, veal.
Veal. There's you don't always have to have veal in, but a lot of authentic Italian meatballs have veal in them.
So Bill was upset with the recipe of the defending Super Bowl champion defensive coordinator who his players love the meatballs so much they get a brown paper bag meatball award. So Bill's got to pipe down here.
Now, does Bill put breadcrumbs in too? Like some people put the breadcrumbs in.
Does Bill? I'm not sure.
I don't have Bill's
I think
recipe.
Bill has to have a meatball off.
With Vic?
I want to see the Colarulo meatball recipe and see how that is authentic. And, and I think that, look, and Bill's grandma just passed, and we are sorry for that.
Yes.
And I guarantee
and it was
you,
her recipe that he made the other day.
Oh, I didn't.
Yes, it's her recipe.
Oh,
Yeah.
my gosh. I can only imagine his grandmother's recipe must be fantastic. Because I've been to people's places, like, this is my grandma's recipe, and everything. I'm like, okay, this is like a meatball. There's no nothing to it.
Bill and I have had many conversations about Sunday dinners and how they last for many hours.
That's
That's
awesome.
why he appreciates
so Vic
Patullo
Fangio's
so
doing
much.
that. That is a great Vic Fangio. How did the Miami players not like this man? Like, how do you?
I don't know. It's incredible.
I know the Georgia players like him because they would get dog cussed on a routine Tuesday afternoon. They were coached hard, so they're used to that.
All right, there are two, other than the brown paper bag and the fact that there's a meatball award, there are two other parts of this story that I freaking loved. It makes me love a person even more. I'll tell you what next. Also, we update you on the running tally of non-Eagles or 49ers people that are picking the game. As of yesterday, it was 3-1 in favor of San Francisco. We will have more for you coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Andrew DeCecco with us for the remainder of the show today here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now, a Birds playoff update on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news on the injury report yesterday. Nakobe Dean, Lane Johnson, both back at practice in a limited capacity. That's great news as they get ready for their matchup with the Niners Sunday at 4:30 at the Link. For San Francisco, both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice, so we'll be watching them closely to see if they'll be available for the wild card round for San Fran. If not, that would be a major opportunity for the Birds to take advantage and try and advance in the postseason. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join Andrew and Ricky Bo this Sunday at 4:30 for the Birds playoff watch party at New Deck Tavern, the official 97.5 The Fanatic watch party location. $5 Corona Extra and $5 Modelo drafts, giveaways, and exclusive Go Birds tees. Sponsored by Corona. La Playa awaits. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for continuing coverage of the Birds as they get ready for the NFC wild card round. 97.5 The Fanatic.
Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
8:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. Always appreciate longtime listeners on our YouTube chat. Somebody dropped the line. It was Money Mar. You can bond over my meatballs.
Oh, yes.
Which was a classic Anthony drop.
Yes.
Because Anthony lived in the same apartment complex as Jordan Matthews. And when Jordan Matthews, Jordan Matthews was on the show one day, and he goes, I'll have you over one day. We can bond over my meatballs.
That was fantastic.
Which when he says it, he's trying to say
right.
something genuine, and then it's like, that's hilarious that you just said it that way.
Colarulo meatball recipe and our friend Anthony Gargano meatball recipe.
And Vic Fangio.
That would be some great eating.
Yeah, I'm in.
I have no idea. I have no idea who wins, but it'd be some great eating.
Damn right it would.
Because I've had Ant's the spaghetti and crabs.
Oh yeah, delicious crabs and spaghetti.
Crabs and spaghetti. I hate spaghetti and crabs. Hate it. Didn't hate it when Anthony made his grandmother's recipe.
Yeah, good cook.
It was fantastic.
Wow,
right.
count me in.
All right.
It was a little messy, but it was well worth the mess.
So the meatball story, two parts that I love. One, one of the very first lines in Tim's story was about Brandon Graham. So this started at the beginning of the season.
Sure.
Brandon Graham was retired at the beginning of the season.
He was.
Brandon Graham apparently had no idea of said meatball award. So he went into his first meeting after a win, and he literally said, quote, I was like, man, what is this?
What is this stuff?
Here's Vic Fangio handing a brown paper bag of meatballs to Jalen Carter was the winner that week. And Brandon Graham's looking around. In all my years of being in the NFL, I've never seen a meatball award.
See, now, from what I've been told, I could see Jalen Carter going hand first and sampling.
Sure.
I would have no doubt. Now, I don't know if the slim down Jordan Davis would be doing that now with his new sleek physique.
Oh, it's protein. It's fine.
Yeah. But, the protein's fine.
My other favorite part, Adoree Jackson was quoted in the story. He said, it's like an unspoken thing. I don't want to say you play for the meatballs, but if you do well, it's a good thing because it's recognized by everybody. Everybody claps it up. It's one of those things because not just your coaches, but your brothers are out there on the field, get to see the hard work you put in. I heard they were good, but I don't want to try them until I get them. That's one of those things I harp myself on. That's for them. You might offer it to me. Cool. But I didn't get that mother effort. He wants to earn the meatballs.
And credit to the man to my left who told me on this show and told every other listener to this show early on in the year when our analysis may have been a little over the top on Adoree Jackson to pump the brakes. And that turned out to be great analysis on your part.
Thanks, man.
Because he has truly.
You were locked in.
And you were like, oh, yeah, that was bad yesterday, but I think there are some reasons, contributing factors, and let it play out.
Thanks, man. And I think if you watch, the previous game, it should give. If you're an Eagles fan watching that game, it should give you a newfound appreciation for the job Adoree Jackson has done, sort of putting his stamp and calming down that second cornerback spot. But Andrew, you read that quote, and I could literally hear Adoree saying it that way. That's what I was laughing about.
By the way, I had two takeaways from that game last week. Right, because there was not much to gain out of other than the seeding conversation. Patullo had a really bad game plan and play calling.
Yeah.
The other one was Adoree Jackson. There is a cliff from him to Keely Ringo and Jacorian Bennett, which the Bennett one was surprising because they went out and got him, and it was bad.
Yeah, but if you remember when they brought him in, you see all of these these
metrics.
these cherry pick stats on social media. The Eagles got a steal. He's going to do this. He's going to do that without seeing how he was going to actually fit into the defense.
Right.
Without even, there's a lot of context that was removed from the equation. And Vic Fangio knows what he's doing. And it's interesting because the Eagles have tried many times this season, whether it was Keely Ringo, Jacorian Bennett, Jair Alexander, to find another number 2 corner. But Adoree Jackson has outlasted and outplayed them all.
Yep. All right. So we have been doing a running tally, Andrew, on the people that don't cover the Eagles or Niners and their picks on the game. 3-1 in favor of the Niners so far. We have Benjamin Solak from ESPN. We have Henry McKenna from Fox. And we have an anonymous executive that spoke with Mike Sando, who we agree he's a very good
I like
reporter.
Sando.
So
Yeah.
He didn't make that up. The one for the Eagles was Adam Schefter on this show yesterday. He straight up said, I don't care who it could have been the Packers or the Niners. The Eagles are not losing their first-round matchup. So that's the one that we've gone for the Eagles. But now that we've gotten closer to the end of the week, starting to get the networks chiming in here. NFL Network had 10 people give a prediction already. And it's split 5-5. You're 5 in favor of the Eagles: Daniel Jeremiah, Colleen Wolfe, Bucky Brooks, Eric Edholm, and Kevin Patra. So those are your 5 in favor of the Eagles.
Okay.
But then there's 5 in favor of the Niners. So the score is 8 for the Niners, 6 to the Eagles. So it's still a two pick lead for the Niners. The Niners one, which is scaring people, though. There's some people I've never heard of. Nick Shuk was one of them. Grant Gordon. Marcus Grant. There's 2 Grants. Marcus Grant. Also Grant Gordon. Maurice Jones-Drew.
Well.
But the one that's scaring people the most, Adam Rank. Because apparently he's been, spot on this year.
Really?
As spot on can be. If you read the replies, there's people saying, no, Adam, why did you have to pick the 49ers?
He's a huge Bears fan, by the way.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe that's why. But it's 5-5. It's crazy because I feel confident about this game. You know me. I've been Mr. Doom and Gloom. I'm confident. You're confident. Connor's confident. We have not had many texters or any texters at all saying that they don't feel good about this game. And I don't think it's we're heading into the playoffs, let's be rah-rah. I think when it comes to football talk, Connor, you man the text line. Have we gotten many worried texts about the Niners?
No, it's like one worried one to every 10 good ones we get.
But the majority of people so far that we have picked the Niners. What am I missing?
You're missing that there's a lot of people who just, I think, have looked at this team, and I think they're looking at the whole season and saying, yeah, it's not very good. The Eagles haven't been very good. And I think that's all they're saying. The Eagles haven't been very good.
I'm the doom and gloom guy. That's my role,
The Eagles are going to have, in all likelihood, 21 of 22 starters out there. I mean, that's incredible at this stage of the season.
All right. Coming up next, how does the coaching carousel impact the Eagles staff? There's some national nuggets on who could leave. And coming up at 9:10, we're going to do questions for DeCecco. Had to move the clocks around a little bit, so start sending them in now. 610-632-0975. Text them in. Questions for DeCecco for this upcoming Eagles-Niners game, and he'll answer them. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Crunch time for availability. I'm Connor Thomas, and this is the point of the week where we start to figure out who's going to be available for the wild card weekend. Lane Johnson and Kobe Dean were both back at practice for the Eagles in a limited capacity yesterday, so good news for them. 49ers, they were missing Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall, who both did not practice yesterday. We'll keep an eye on that very closely. Birds, Niners, Sunday, 4:30 at the Link. And Jalen Hurts met with the media yesterday. He talked about the focus on this year being, it's another year, different type of circumstance, same goal.
Every year is different, but it's always the same goal. If you don't have that mentality, then, you're not in the right place. Ultimately, it's just coming in, treating every year as its own year, but also knowing exactly what we're playing for and putting ourselves in positions to play for championships.
We'll keep you updated on everything ahead of the big game. The Sixers took down the Wizards 131-110 last night. They had 7 players in double figures. They're off till tomorrow night. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live here on The Fanatic. Andrew DeCecco remains with the guys for the remainder of the show, breaking down everything you need to know ahead of Eagles-Niners. This update is brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Connor Thomas on your home for the continuing coverage of the Birds. They get ready for the NFL wildcard round. 97.5 The Fanatic.
and Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
It is 9 o'clock on this Thursday morning. Getting closer to Eagles-Niners. It is wild card weekend. Eagles-Niners play Sunday at 4:30. We'll obviously do our pick segment on the entire slate coming up tomorrow. Andrew DeCecco will give his pick on the Eagles-Niners game toward the end of the show today around 9:45. We're going to do questions for DeCecco coming up at 9:10. So text them in, 610-632-0975 for this upcoming game. You know, throughout the course of the season, it's been State of the Eagles, upcoming game, previous game. It's playoff time now. So if you have any questions for Andrew DeCecco about this upcoming Eagles-Niners playoff game, send them in at 610-632-0975. Now, I'm excited. Well, I'm always excited you're here, Andrew, but you can speak to this a lot because you're around the team all the time. So there's the big coaching carousel. First off, your reaction to the coaching changes in the NFL, specifically John Harbaugh and a Kevin Stefanski, and where you might think they could end up.
Yeah, I think the John Harbaugh one was the one I was really shocked by because 18 years, right? 18 years in one spot. He's been successful. He's well respected around the NFL. And I think for a team, for any sort of franchise, he is somebody that you look to and say, that's what you want a head coach to be like, because he has a commanding presence, he has emotional intelligence, all those things you look for, and a track record of success. And so I think that he'll be front of the line when teams look to bring in a coach. Now, if I'm the New York Giants, I'm looking to bring in John Harbaugh, and that starts to calm down a lot of the silliness that's been going on with that organization, and now you have a lot more structure to sort of build around.
What about developing a guy like Jackson Dart, though? Do you look at him and go, is he the guy to develop Jackson Dart?
No, I think that's a good point. I think in that case, someone like Kevin Stefanski would be a really good fit. And I think, I'm curious to see what he would do in a different type of situation where you have a Jackson Dart, a Malik Neighbors coming back, a defense that has some nice young pieces there, and you kind of take your experience and you rectify what didn't go right and try to apply that to your next stop. I think he would be another one who would be a hot commodity this offseason.
By the way, I thought you were going to keep going. When talking about Harbaugh, you said, quote, 18 years. 18 years. What's next?
Have one of your kids have you for 18 years.
Thank you. Tanya.
Gold digger.
Gold digger.
I was giving you guys room.
Well, I didn't know if John knew it. No. I don't know if Andrew knew it.
No.
I haven't heard that song in a while, but yeah. Kanye.
Anyways.
There's a reason.
Yeah. ESPN. Who wrote it? Let me see who wrote this. I think it was Fowler.
No more Solak.
Yeah. No, he does a fine job. This is Fowler.
He does a fine job.
Does a fine job.
Researched by like a 10-year-old.
Jeremy Fowler wrote about every team in the NFL about coaches, coaching staff, not just head coaches, coaching staff, you name it.
Yeah.
Because when there's changes in the NFL, you're not just thinking about head coaches. You think about coordinators. You
100%.
think about assistants. So he did a deep dive on the Patullo thing, and he basically uttered exactly what you said about he's the first coordinator that has not benefited from the strength of the Eagles' offensive line.
Oh, nice.
He says some around the league are wondering about the future of Kevin Patullo because of the offensive struggles. Patullo has clout in Philadelphia because of his strong relationships with key players and a long-standing position as a Nick Sirianni confidant. The offensive line's quality of play has certainly not been the same as last year's, which is bad timing for Patullo. Are we starting to get the excuses for him out there? Or
no, I think it's objectivity if you're looking at it in totality. I mean, those are valid.
Valid, yeah.
They are valid. I mean, and he does have good relationships with a lot of key players on that offense. So that's important to note as well. Now, the Eagles make a deep run in the postseason.
Sure.
That changes the narrative a little bit. And I think for the sake of continuity, if nothing else, you're going to see him back.
The one thing, first off, I do not believe he has clout in the organization. because I don't
Oh,
believe.
sure. He's been there
I think
for a while.
I think if he goes, that doesn't give you clout. He didn't have any power in the organization until this year.
Well, no, clout with like the players, I would imagine.
No, but I'm saying
What you're
clout
saying.
means
and Nick. Look, Nick loves him.
Yeah, he's respected.
Well, Nick may love him. I think is that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that I don't believe that he's going to. I think it's going to take a lot for him to keep his job. Just a couple conversations I had last Sunday. I think it's going to take a lot for him to keep his job.
Okay.
Like I don't believe it's a. They lose one of their first 2 playoff games. I would go as far as to say I do not believe that he will be the OC. They lose one of these first 2 playoff games, he will not be the OC.
All right.
I don't believe.
There might be some other coaches on the staff that could exit. Now, I'll tell you about that in a second, but I got to do the Know the Show question. So we're giving away 2 pairs of passes for the True Fan Travel Tailgate Philly Sports Trips. They do a great job, even for home games. So the tailgate, 12:30 to 3:30 before the Eagles take on the 49ers, whether you're going to the game or not. It ends at 3:30. That gives you the time to then go to wherever you want to go watch the game. Our 8 o'clock Know the Show question. We told you about the article from Tim McManus about what? Vic Fangio's what? 610-632-0975. First person to call in. Shukri will take care of you in the back there. And you'll get the pair of passes for the True Fan Travel Tailgate. The 9 o'clock hour Know the Show question will be a text line winner. 610-632-0975. So, Andrew, you're around this team all the time. Fowler is looking at 2 members of the Eagles coaching staff that could be in the mix for coordinator jobs. One of them being Christian Parker, who I know you love. You speak very highly of him. The other one that teams are intrigued by, and he's had coordinator experience before, is Clint Hurt.
Yep.
Talk about those 2 guys. I know this is deep because a lot of people think about quarterback and head coach. But this is why I love you, because you can go into all the angles. How important have Christian Parker and Clint Hurt been to the defense and the overall maybe specific players that they've worked with?
Yeah, well, this is something that I'm pretty passionate about because these are coaches that don't necessarily get the recognition from the outside, but they are instrumental to what the Eagles have done in terms of just developing talent. So Christian Parker, really exceptional at explaining the fundamentals and honing in on the details, explaining the whys, communication, all of those things. You look at Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and how far along they are in their young careers. You could say that they have a lot of talent and they would have found their way there anyway, but I think that would be kind of taking away from what Christian Parker has done in terms of refining their overall game. Look at Adoree Jackson settling into that position. Last season, Slay played at an extremely high level for his age. I just think that he's had an impact. And I go back to his time with the Denver Broncos where Sean Payton, that was probably, I think that may have been the only coach that he tried to keep on staff, but he developed Jaquan McMillan, one of the better nickel defenders in the NFL who was undrafted. So you see a track record of success there. He commands a room, and he has this presence that suggested to me always that he was going to be a defensive coordinator. He has that in him. Very sharp-minded guy, and I you can see it. I can't say any. I can't speak highly enough about him.
Vic is the one who has all these guys tutored. That they take his concepts, but it certainly seems like there's a lot of guys who are teaching it down the tree.
Yes.
Is he sort of like a CEO DC net like Vic, or is how hands on is he day to day with the teaching?
Oh, I think he's very hands on. But when position groups when they break off, these coaches who are working with them, it's Jeremiah Washburn working with the outside linebackers and defensive ends. It's Bobby King, the linebackers coach, working on those young linebackers and honing in on the block destruction is huge with the Philadelphia Eagles, and that is solely derived from Bobby King. Block destruction, all those type of things that he talks about. They have a poster in their room. I've talked to a lot of the different linebackers about how he really drills that, the physicality, when in doubt, seek violence type of thing. And so they're overseeing these position groups, John, on a day-to-day, but then Vic Fangio brings the whole group together and gets everybody on the same page. So you could look at that whole group down there. Cornerbacks coach Roy Anderson, safeties coach Joe Casper. He's done a really nice job. He's an ascending young coach there as well. So there's no mistake why the defense has gotten better and why you see tangible signs of development across the board for the past couple years.
How about this name in the NFL? Adam Schefter reporting that will be interviewing tonight and Friday for the Giants head coaching job.
Who?
About Antonio Pierce, who didn't
Really?
spend time with the Raiders as a head coach.
I thought you were going to say Ben McAdoo.
Oh, my God, Ben McAdoo.
Adam Gase.
They had dinner. I saw they had dinner with Raheem Morris last night.
Yes, I just saw that
I'm like,
from
seriously?
Racine.
This is like, I think Howie Roseman is actually picking their interview list. I bring him on. Bring him on. Go just as long as John Harbaugh is not on that list.
I imagine.
Bring it on.
I imagine he's on that list.
You remember that whole Sirianni exercise we did about which owners and GMs would pick him?
Yeah.
We've got these guys getting other interviews.
So
No, you know what though? Here is two, and I saw earlier yesterday when Raheem Morris was being brought in for dinner. There were members of the New York press going, "Are the Giants trying to check the box on the Rooney Rule?
Right.
Trying to give Raheem, are they trying to use Raheem Morris to click off a box?" Look, I think Raheem Morris gets a lot of respect around the NFL.
He sure does. Yeah.
And he's really well loved by players and everything like that.
Yep.
And a lot of people were shocked that he got fired down in Atlanta.
Well,
And they finished strong.
Especially once Kirk, you like that, took over. And
He
they
won the
signed that.
NFC South. He just didn't win it for the Falcons, but he won it.
If they would have stayed with Kirk Cousins, they would have won.
They would have
Yeah,
won. But that was on
probably
Raheem,
would've.
though.
Yeah.
And the front office, though, who
I
had
would
drafted
imagine
a kid.
I would imagine the front office had a little bit
with
to do with
Penix.
that.
Oh, I guarantee it.
All right, give us some football music, Connor, and let's do questions for DeCecco. You obviously can always be a part of the show at 610-632-0975. We always love this when Andrew comes in because we get to put our feet up, Johnny. So, Connor, what do we got?
But
for
we have our
missing
shoes
check?
on and socks.
What do we got?
We have a bunch of people just sending the word meatballs. Congrats to John and Ewing, who was our winner for that one. Yes, you all knew it was about Vic Fangio's meatballs. We do have some questions for Andrew in there, none spaghetti related. This one from Karate Mark. What version of Nick Sirianni and quarterback one do you think we will see? The conservative version or the footballs on the table version like we've seen in the past?
The latter, knowing that it's a winner-go-home situation. But make no mistake about it, they're not going to get outside of who they are stylistically. I believe that they're going to try to lean on the running game, play a risk-averse, protect the football style. But when there are plays to be made, expect Jalen Hurts to kind of turn it loose and pick up yards with his legs and let it rip down the field when an opportunity presents itself.
All right, what else?
Salciunas' vacation buddy, Stick from Clearwater,
Oh, what's
checks
up,
in.
Stick?
He says, hey, DeCecco, does Fangio hold this Niner offense to less than 20 points again? And if so, how?
Yes. Spoiler alert when I give my final score today. I really do believe that he will, and it all starts about pressuring Brock Purdy. The Eagles' pass rush has evolved significantly. I don't think there's any mistake that it happened to coincide with the insertion of Nakobe Dean and arrival of Jalen Phillips, but they're going to pressure a young quarterback, fluster him, force him off his spot, and when you have someone like Vic Fangio who has seen it all, I just think that he is going to confound Brock Purdy. So you may see a turnover or two in this game because of it.
My love affair for Jalen Phillips has grown so strong that John made the YouTube audience yesterday give a dating name.
Like a couple's name where they merge the couple's names?
For me and Jalen
Yeah, it has
Phillips.
to be.
I love him.
He's outstanding.
He's tremendous, dude.
He's an outstanding football player. What a great addition for that team. And Tank Bigsby as well.
Absolutely. When you were out last week, we did an exercise of, we talked about it on post-show headlines, and then we did it on the air.
Okay.
Who would you pay on the defense, ranking the order of guys you would pay, obviously like Carter or
Right.
Quignon's 1 or 2. I put Jalen Phillips at 4, I think I did. And
Sounds
you were right
right.
around there, too.
Yeah.
I would pay him before some other guys that are on the edge, like Nolan Smith.
I understand heated rivalry season 2. Andrew Salciunas, they're trying to see who they can get to play the part.
It's a good show.
There you go.
What else we got?
And Tommy Reardon checks in, says, is Kevin Patullo coaching for his job on Sunday?
Yeah, if he loses, he's gone. Flat out, 100%. I'll guarantee it right now. He's gone.
Yeah. I mean, you can't go out there and lose that game. I would think that would put him in, put him in a pretty tough spot. But I don't foresee that happening. I think the Eagles are going to win this game, and I believe that they are primed for a pretty deep postseason run. So I think all of that, maybe wishful thinking from the texter is going to be for naught because I don't see it happening.
All right. What else we got?
All right. This texter wants to know, Matt from South Jersey, would an Eagles loss surprise you, Andrew? And if so, why would they have lost?
Yeah, it would surprise me, to be honest with you, because this is the moment, the playoffs, where the Eagles have really elevated their performance. There's something to be said for knowing what to expect and how to meet the moment. And for some reason, they always find ways to win. There's something to be said for that. This defense, to be honest with you, is the best in the playoffs right now. You could put the Houston Texans up there, but I really do believe that they're starting to click and fire on all cylinders. So knowing how well they've sort of taken shape, I would be shocked if they're not able to bottle up what is a 49ers offense that is a shell of what it used to be. And I think Jalen Hurts is going to meet the moment here. That I would be surprised if they're not pressing on to the next round.
All right. Anything else there, Connor?
John in Tennessee checks in, wants to know for Andrew, the score's close going into the final 5 minutes. Which coaching staff do you trust more to use the clock and timeouts wisely?
Well, Kyle Shanahan's had some snafus in game situations.
Yeah.
It's not to say that Nick Sirianni hasn't either, but I would lean towards the Eagles just based off of being in those type of tight games time and time again this season, and also playing in Super Bowls and postseason contests and winning those games. I think you draw from experience there, and I lean Eagles.
You bring up the timeouts. I just got like a visceral reaction to this past Sunday's game. The Commanders were out of timeouts with like 8 minutes left in the game.
That was incredible.
And remember, 2 of them were on the first play of a drive. They lined up and then
out of timeouts.
And they called
a TV timeout.
And they called a timeout. And they still lost.
Right.
Well,
God.
I know, but yeah, I think you lean towards the playoff pedigree of the Philadelphia Eagles here.
Sure.
I know this is that it's very rare that it's very rare. I think it's like one time I can ever remember coming in here on a Monday or a day after a game and going, man, Nick Sirianni really mismanaged that clock. Like it's 5 years of his tenure.
Yeah.
He's done. It's very rare that we ever say, man, his clock management, horrendous. We did it with Andy Reid. Fans would do it every single week.
It was a weekly thing.
Yeah, it's great.
All right. Thank you, everybody who texted in their questions for DeCecco. We appreciate you as always. And, of course, we appreciate Andrew DeCecco. All right. I did not see this till just now.
What's that?
There was a former Philly signed yesterday.
Tomas Perez?
In Major League Baseball. I wish. Love the Pie Master. Michael Lorenzen signed with the Colorado Rockies, where careers go to die. 1 year deal, $8 million. So good for him. You know, still collecting checks. What do you think of Lorenzen? I was at the no hitter, so to me,
you have to have a
he's always
spot.
like right here, like very special place in my heart. But I would imagine if you were not like you didn't go to the no hitter or you didn't watch the no hitter. Does Michael Lorenzen like do anything for people in Philly?
I watched the no-hitter. I can't speak from someone who didn't see it. Like, I love the guy forever because of that moment.
Yeah, I'm always gonna have a fondness for Lorenzen no matter what.
Like, he barely played here, but when he played, he literally threw a no-hitter. Like, I will always have an appreciation for that.
Was it his second
man.
start as a Philly?
That's a good
Might have been his first home start.
It was. I remember it was fairly early on, but I'm always going to be a fan.
Yeah, I kind of imagine it, much like you feel about Kevin Millwood, who also threw a no-hitter at one point. He had a middling Phillies career, and he wasn't here long, but I imagine you like him all the same.
That was his second start with the Phillies. Connor, you're right. First home start. His
second start with the Phillies?
His first start, he goes 8 innings.
Baseball guy.
Where he allowed 2 runs. His second start, he throws a no-hitter, and then it just died. And then they tried moving him to the bullpen, and that was 2023, where we all know what happened in the Diamondbacks series. So not really a pleasant end to the Michael Lorenzen chatter.
Yeah, we don't have to talk about that other stuff, though. Threw a no-no. That was great.
I appreciated that, being there.
In the Vans, too.
Yeah, that's right. He wore the Vans, which, hey, whatever works. All right, what do we got in the text line? It's 610-632-0975. Our Jalen Hurts discussion. How much weight are you putting on his shoulders, knowing that he might have to do a lot? I mean, they're going to try to do whatever they can to take away Saquon. That's been the recipe for defenses all season long. A lot of people, myself included, have issues with the offensive coordinator of this team. And so I think Jalen Hurts has to overcome a lot of obstacles. How much pressure are you putting on Hurts? What do we got?
First-time texter here, so appreciate them joining in on the show for the first time. They say something I think we should take note of is that this is the first postseason for Jalen Hurts without any injuries during the regular season. Are we expecting that to lead to an even better performance in the postseason this year?
That's an interesting. I didn't think of that going into the postseason. This is the first time he's going in without a ding.
Yeah, I think so, and also just the experience to draw from. And he talks a lot about that whenever he meets with us on Wednesdays. He's just wise beyond his years, and I think when you are in these big moments, you're able to kind of draw from that. And being healthy, seeing what you need to improve upon, and the trajectory of the team going into the postseason, those are all things, the push and pull of a season that I think will really serve him well, and the offense as a whole.
You mentioned it. He spoke on it yesterday. You'll hear from Jalen Hurts coming up next about his experience in the playoffs. Hell, not just in Philadelphia. I mean, going back to college. Big game experience from Jalen Hurts. Hear from the quarterback coming up next. Also, everybody in this room and Connor over there in that room, we love the NFL. This freaking country loves the NFL. The numbers this year on viewership are almost historic.
It's incredible.
We'll go through them coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas. Andrew Pacheco with us for the remainder of the show here on 97.5 The Fanatic. All right, let's talk about that FanDuel Sportsbook app. Wild card round is here, and FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers, not just new customers, all customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. So that means Saturday, that means Sunday, and that also means the Monday night playoff game between the Texans and Steelers. Each game day during the wild card round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. Pick the matchups that you believe in the most. I like the Eagles to win this football game. I would not take the 4.5. All right, now I would never bet San Francisco plus 4.5 because I feel gross doing that. I like Jacksonville at home against Buffalo, and I like Houston going on the road to beat the Steelers. Do that, build a parlay, whatever you want to do, then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel.com, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-trouble profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
An injury update for the Birds. I'm Connor Thomas, and the Eagles got some good news on the first injury report of the week yesterday. Lane Johnson, Nakobe Dean, both back at practice in a limited capacity. So the Birds seem to be trending towards health as they get ready to take on the 49ers Sunday, 4:30 from the link for the wild card round of the NFC postseason. San Francisco, they're trending in the opposite direction. Both Trent Williams and Ricky Pearsall did not practice yesterday, so something to keep an eye on for two impact players for them. Jalen Hurts, he's been an impact player for the Eagles, especially in big games. Yesterday in his media availability, he was asked how he's able to accomplish that.
Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you. I'm just answering your question.
Some things are in Jalen Hurts, and the great performances have been. We'll keep you updated on everything ahead of the big game. Sixers beat the Wizards 131-110 last night. Sixers had 7 players in double figures. A nice, well-rounded effort. They're off till Friday. Flyers host the Maple Leafs tonight at 7 p.m. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by AAA Tire and Auto Service. Save up to $30 on auto repair with the AAA Triple Play. Only at AAA Tire and Auto Service. Offer valid through January 31st. Details at AAA.com/mycar. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
YouTube.com/975 The Fanatic Philadelphia. More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
The final hour of Kincade and Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is 9:30 here on Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Our man Andrew DeCecco with us for the remainder of the show today. Connor, I forgot to tell you, get cut 12 from one Jalen Hurts because DeCecco was saying before we went to break about the big game experience. So that's something that you can't, quantify. It's not something that you can just do a Madden rating about big games. But John and I have talked about a lot this week. Caleb Williams losing Week 18 was not like the biggest shock in the world because that's been one of his biggest issues. That was when coming out of college, who you should draft with the number 1 overall pick. Do you want to draft a guy that has come up small in big games?
I would have taken Jaden Daniels every single time.
Yeah. You were upset when Williams got drafted by the Bears because you knew that Jaden Daniels was coming to the division.
And he's been better, though, with the Bears than I thought he would be because he's got a great coach.
Ben Johnson helps that out a lot. And so when you say earlier you'd be surprised or you'd be interested to see how Caleb Williams is after winning a playoff game because that might be like that big weight off the shoulders, like I finally came through in a big game. But there's no rating to that. But here was Jalen Hurts yesterday speaking to members of the media talking about how he performs in big games.
I asked you a few weeks ago about the clutch concept and the high-stakes games. Why do you think it is in your career you've played better or you've elevated your performance in these high-stakes games?
Some things are in you.
That's in you.
I'm just answering your question.
What's that about?
I like it.
I love it.
I love it. I have no problem with that answer. What are you complaining about? I love that
What are you
answer.
complaining about?
What are you complaining about? What's wrong with the answer? Okay. Some things are in you. Yes. We just talked about how there's no way to quantify.
Go ahead, John.
No, it's just the snippiness that he had with his answer is what I had a problem with. It was if you want to play the end of it again, the snippiness that he answered it with, I had a problem with. I didn't think there was any need for it. I just don't understand what it was about.
All right, go ahead, play it again.
Some things are in you.
That's in you.
I'm just answering your question.
I could not love that more.
I got no problem. I have no problem with it.
You love it. I don't. That's cool.
What don't you like about?
I thought it was a very snippy answer. I just don't like it. I just don't understand why you have to answer a question like that. It isn't. He says, and that's in you. He's asking you to expound. He's asking you to expound about that.
Yeah, I'm with John on that.
You don't like it either?
It's very snippy. It's like why do you have to act like that?
Expand on the answer.
Expand on the answer. Like it's like you're not freaking Confucius. Like it's like you're not some wise sage that is like speaking.
Well, he tries to be.
You're not speaking at some level that nobody else could possibly understand your point. Speak to people like humans speak to each other. And by the way, speak to people respectfully in a way that you speak to other people, not condescendingly. And that's a very condescending way to speak to somebody.
But hasn't he spoken like that like his entire career?
Okay, and I don't like it when they do that. I don't think that's the way that they should address people.
All right.
Nick Sirianni, by the way, gets treated in this town a lot of times very disrespectfully.
He absolutely does.
Sure.
I'm glad you said that.
And he is, I think, completely respectful.
Always.
I've never seen him.
Sometimes he talks too much.
But I've never seen him answer disrespect with respect.
I think Nick Sirianni, for all he's accomplished, is immensely disrespected.
I would agree.
In this city.
And
I really do.
And I've never seen him feel the need to be disrespectful, anything like that.
He never is.
I had no problem with the answer. Curious. We did this exercise yesterday. Speaking of Nick Sirianni, because it came up. So yesterday we did, what if the league drafted coaches? I know you love these kinds of topics.
Oh, yeah.
He loves it.
Where do you think Sirianni would get drafted? And
Coach Draft Simulator.
Yeah. Like, we were trying, because there was a debate. Like, there were some people that said easy top 5 because he wins. Connor had him, like 7 or 8?
7.
I had him right around 10. John had him like 13.
I had him 12 or 13. I think.
And it's not what we would do. It's like what you would think the league would do.
NFL owners.
And the obsession of offenses. We all agreed that there's like you know how we do the Burrow, Allen, Lamar, Mahomes, and that's untouchable. Reed, Shanahan, McVay, I would imagine in any order would be 1 through 3.
Likely, yes.
Yeah. where do you think if the league were to draft coaches, where Sirianni would go?
5 or 6.
Okay.
The winning pedigree counts for something. Look, it's funny because, and I am 100% with John on this. I really do feel like Nick Sirianni is incredibly disrespected in the general sense when you look at NFL coaches and how the Eagles are perceived. He wins because they have a lot of talent and all things like that, without taking into account what he does behind the scenes and all the other responsibilities that come with being a CEO coach. But I think he's viewed a little differently than maybe what you may believe. So I would say 5 or 6.
When you look at this, when you look at how he's perceived, we sat down with Steve Weish at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And with him, and he was talking about the fact is that when he talks to coaches around the league, he's not a popular guy amongst his peers. And I think a lot of people feel that, like they maybe don't like his, I when I was off the air at the time, but when I saw him doing the stuff, screaming again at the fans coming off the field in Buffalo, I was just like, come on, dude.
Now that Weish interview was before winning. And
that was before winning.
How much did winning the Super Bowl change how people
perceive it?
Big in the rest of the league.
I feel like he won't get enough credit because of the talent that the Eagles have, but that shouldn't be an indictment on Nick Sirianni.
I agree.
I still think when you look at his track record of success, minus the 2023 collapse, you have to take that into consideration. Not only his ability to get his team ready to play each and every week and have them focused and have all 53 players, and really, if you want to expand on that, 70 players buying into his messaging and it never running stale. That's an art. Not every coach can do that.
Yeah.
To be able to galvanize a team like that.
He's been incredible.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He's been absolutely incredible.
5 years, 5 playoff appearances, 2 NFC title games, championships, and a Super Bowl win.
Yeah, you hate to throw the resume out there, but the resume speaks for itself, and I think that he does a lot of other things, Andrew, that probably don't get taken into consideration from the general population.
All right, the NFL viewership this year was ridiculous. It is every
year.
The NFL averaged, this is from the Associated Press, 18.7 million viewers per game during the regular season, which is the second highest, so not the highest, but second highest since audience averages began being kept in 1988.
That's incredible.
The per game average on TV and digital platforms, because that's another key aspect of it. Look, Christmas games were on Netflix this year. Had a 10% increase from last year, 17.5 million, and up 7% from 2023. The overall viewership just shy of the record average, which was 19 million. So I told you 18.7. The record was 19 million. Do you know the year?
No idea.
Take a guess. Since 1988, they've been keeping this average.
Since 1988, I'm going to say 1996.
All right. Oh, you're Mr. Prices, right? You tell us all the time that you're on it.
I don't know. 2000.
2020.
1989.
Hey, that's the year I was born.
But that's stunning to me.
Weekend at Bernie's came out that year, too.
We always say how the viewership has increased because of
graduated college.
Gambling being more accessible. Gambling was always around, but gambling's more accessible. That may be why viewership has gone up. It's more accessible, the NFL, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm shocked that the record average was 1989.
That is a little shocking.
That is incredible. Well, remember, though, what you guys can't imagine is there were like 7 channels.
Sure, that's fair. That's a good point.
That's a
you guys
very
can't
good
even, you
point.
guys can't even imagine the world where you didn't constantly flip. You put on a game and you watched it, which helps the ratings because you didn't flip channels.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing to flip to. You were flipping.
Well, you had Hawaii 5-0 on Channel 48.
There was nothing to flip to.
But you know what's also amazing? This has also, this does not calculate Red Zone, right? So the fact that it almost broke the record, and there are people that just watch Red Zone all day that won't watch the actual game from start to finish. All 5 leagues' weekly packages experience increases. So Prime Video, even though a lot of people complained when that first started that Thursday night football games would be on Prime. That went up 16%. Even with Al Michaels carrying 16% less every single year, the viewership has gone up 16%. CBS went up 11%. And Monday Night Football and Sunday Night Football both went up 9% on ESPN and NBC. Fox had the smallest jump of 6%.
You know that he, too, which is just talk about the power of the NFL. Cavs, Knicks, Spurs, Thunder, Mavs, Warriors, Rockets, Lakers, Timberwolves, Nuggets. The 5 NBA games on Christmas Day did not equal Lions, Vikings.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow.
The 5, and by the way, streaming service NFL game between the Lions and the Vikings with a third-string quarterback starting.
Yeah, Max Brosmer.
All the 5 NBA games combined from all the NBA zealots going, get the NBA. The NBA deserves Christmas.
Yeah.
The people like the NBA on Christmas. No, they don't.
Survey says you are wrong,
The
and they
people
would
do
rather
not
watch
like the NBA on Christmas.
The NBA games were better.
It was just that
but that's not what gets the money.
No,
it's
I
just
agree.
all we had.
Yeah.
I agree. I would much rather watch NBA
The
on
games
Christmas.
were great. The games were great, but
I mean, they were marching out Max Brosmer to play quarterback. That is just befuddling to me.
All the games, 5 games, couldn't equal the Vikings and the Lions on
Yeah.
a streaming. And by the way, the NBA games were on main TV. You can watch ESPN and ABC.
That's crazy.
That's Nuggets,
puzzling.
Nuggets, T-Wolves.
Oh, great
right,
games.
Jokic, Anthony Edwards goes to overtime.
Right.
Rockets, Lakers, which is KD and LeBron. Warriors, Mavericks. You got the Steph story.
And nobody
Spurs, Thunder.
And nobody cared. They watched terrible football
2 million
over
people
it.
cared.
They watched terrible football over it.
All right,
on a streaming service.
Coming up next, Andrew DeCecco, final segment with him. We get your prediction on this upcoming game. Also, I have to ask if I am going to commit a major violation later on today. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Every game day right before the Birds take the field, check out the Birds in. Talk, 97.5 The Fanatic.
It is 9:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We'll do our final Know the Show question here momentarily for the 9 o'clock edition for your chance to win a pair of passes for the True Fan Travel Tailgate, which comes your way this Sunday, 12:30 to 3:30 with Philly Sports Trips. They do a tremendous job. All you can eat, all you can drink. 3 hours. It's going to be decent weather on Sunday, too, so good tailgating day.
It's going to be nice, like 48 degrees.
Damn
Can't
right.
beat
Perfect.
that. And then game time kickoff, like 43, 44.
Can't hate
No
that.
wind, right?
No wind. It's going to be great.
We will be giving away the second two. We'll also be giving away 2 pairs of passes, tomorrow as well. But the second pair of today will be coming up at some point in this segment. Now, before we get your prediction on how this game plays out, and the Checkadamus, you put your cap on or whatever, you stare into your crystal ball. I got to ask if this is a violation or not. All right? So there's been a lot of talk about mess around here.
All right.
This is Ricky Metallica. What about stank?
Oh, dude, that is a major violation.
That's why we keep Connor in that room.
So we will be interviewing Kevin Burkhardt today at 11:30. John and I will, and it will play tomorrow during the show. Kevin Burkhardt.
8:05 tomorrow. Kevin Burkhardt will do the game with Tom Brady on Fox.
Yep.
Kevin's going to join us because he will be in flight tomorrow.
Okay.
Coming to Philadelphia, so he will be in flight tomorrow morning.
That'll be great.
So we'll speak to him today at 11:30. Now,
Tape it.
once we do our post-show headlines and all that kind of stuff, it's 10:30, right? So there will be an hour before we speak to Kevin Burkhardt. Usually before we leave, we might, walk down sales, all that kind of stuff. So we have an hour.
Don't take a nap on Dylan's couch.
Not going to do that. I am going
There's
to
drool on that couch.
I am going to go for a run. Hopefully about 5 miles.
He's going to sweat.
And then I will come back into the building, into this little studio behind us, next to John.
And we're going to do a good, probably 10 minutes with Kevin Burkhardt.
And first, we got to call him. Then there's hey, man, how you doing before we actually do the interview. So John and I will probably be in this little room together. That already stinks, by the way. This room
room does stink of mold.
Of mold. It smells like there's mold. I need Groundworks to come out and help the One Ballot Plaza. It smells like there's mold in there. So that smell coupled with me going, I got my running shoes on. I got a hoodie. I got my knit cap. I'm ready to go.
Lithuanian sweat.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
That sounds like the incubator of death.
It is.
Is it wrong of me to do that? Because I don't want to wait till I get home to run. It's
God
too late.
forbid.
It's a little selfish.
And I'm going to.
Think about John. Think about your partner here, what he's going to have to deal with.
And I got to go in one of these tubes this afternoon to have my major scan. So I got to go from that to go drink barium and then go in a major tube and get stuff injected into me.
Well,
I'm already going to be sick from the sweat.
Well, now I'm warming you up. I'm making it not as bad.
Look, I vomit every time I do this test anyway afterwards. I'm going to be vomiting before. They're going to be like, wow, you don't usually vomit before. Well,
it's your pregame vomit.
Sometimes the lobby here smells like a high school bus, right? So if somebody should have some Axe that they could spray the room with, there's a perfect solution. You get your run in, and John doesn't have to deal with the.
Did you have a go-to Axe body spray?
Axe body spray.
I was the blue. I don't know what the scent was.
Whatever the blue was, but I got into cologne at a very early.
See, we had Drakkar Noir.
Drakkar, Cool Water.
We had Drakkar Noir was for our generation more, and the green Polo.
Yeah, okay, so I do.
Your dad must have taught you these things.
Yeah, so I'm Polo Purple.
You like the purple?
That one's very rare.
I was Phoenix. Was the Axe? The blue Axe was Phoenix.
There you go.
There was a lot.
I hope you brought some today to cover up the stank.
No.
Man, that room's going to stink.
Be prepared. All right, what's your prediction on this upcoming game Sunday, 4:30, Eagles-Niners?
Yeah, I think the Eagles win this game by a score of 24-16. The offense will do just enough. You're going to see Saquon Barkley go over 80 yards in this one, and I think the defense is really going to get home. We'll say, for a bold prediction, Jalen Phillips gets home for a sack. And I'm going to say Adoree Jackson comes up with an interception of Brock Purdy in this game.
And then he gets the meatballs.
And then he gets the meatball.
I actually really hope that he gets the meatballs. If he has an interception,
he will get the
Vic
Fangio acclaimed meatballs.
I love that idea. I love it. The perfect conditions, though, to me, is what I want with this team on. I want to see this defense on a great track. That's what they were like, wow, perfect conditions. That's not that great for San Francisco coming in. I said, I'd rather see this defense on a great track and see what they can do. Get home.
And you're going to get one on Sunday at 4:30. That's a great track, and you can't ask for better weather.
Damn right. All right. Earlier today, Know the Show question, we gave you the sort of nugget from Jeremy Fowler on the coaching carousel, and there is a member of the Eagles coaching staff. Actually, I mentioned two.
Which I really appreciate you giving me that opportunity to talk about both.
Damn right.
Well, I talked about the one.
You talked about the one. Who is the member of the Eagles coaching staff that could potentially get a defensive coordinator job, hopefully after the Eagles win the Super Bowl in February? Who could get a defensive coordinator job that's on this Eagles coaching staff? And Andrew DeCecco spoke very highly of this person. The first person to text it in at 610-632-0975 will win our second pair of passes for the True Fan Travel Tailgate, Eagles-Niners, this Sunday, January 11th, 12:30 to 3:30, special 3-hour edition of the True Fan Travel Tailgate. Irving Fryer will be there, and a lot of other great guests, great music, and great food. The filet mignon sandwich is
it's second to none. It's
is
delicious.
top-notch. So I'm really looking forward to that. So first person to text it in, 610-632-0975.
They had at the Bears game, they had the cheese things, too. They had that cheese with
yeah, dude. Tremendous.
Really? It was like cheese with
it's like 5-star tailgating.
Oh, it was fantastic.
That sounds tremendous.
You're not eating out of the trunk of your car. You are eating top-notch food out of a top-notch grill. Man, it's awesome.
Damn right, man. By the way, a lot of people are excited for me to go for my run to stink up the studio.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. I'll vomit twice today just for all of you. That'll be great.
Yeah,
Let me know how it turns out.
I'm allergic to barium, so I have to do the test, but I always will then get sick later.
All right.
So it'll be great.
Hang in there.
It'll be
I'm
fun.
sorry that you have to go through
It's
that.
okay.
That sounds horrible.
Maybe
It's
somebody
terrible.
can gift you some axe.
There you go. Jason Martinez, he's right behind you.
No, Mert can understand. He's done the test. You got to drink this crap, and then I'm allergic to it, so I vomited up.
Jason
later.
Martinez with Middays with Marks today. I tweeted at Jason Martinez during the Flyers game. He's proud of me. Calling it I said the barn was alive when we were there.
Every single hockey term.
I saw a couple dot-to-dot passes. Come on, man.
Every single hockey term that he has ever heard from Jason Martinez was used the other night.
Good play on the half wall.
Yeah, man.
Oh, Mert, you would have been so proud of him.
I dropped a dump and chase. Look at that dump and chase over there.
He would have made you, your boy would have made you really proud. And he was into it the whole game. He was sitting forward in his seat. He was paying attention.
It's nice.
He was loving it.
Because they're putting together.
Participating in the FU Cutter chance.
No,
but he was enjoying them.
Somebody a part of the show did.
I think we all know who that might
be. And
be.
I tried saying, come on, man, you're a professional now.
Screw that. He doesn't want to be here. I boo him.
By the way, I can't stand him.
You're a professional now, man.
I was not participating, but I loved it, though. I loved it.
Just because I can't say it on air doesn't mean I can't say it to guys we don't like.
You got to tighten up, CT.
Damn right, man. CT
18.
guarantee, bro. All right. Middays
Thank
with
you,
Marks. Andrew, we
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
the time
See
as
you
always,
Sunday.
man. Middays with Marks comes your way next. Jason Martinez will be in-house. I have not seen Ray Dunn yet. Has Ricky Metallico taken him out to pasture? Oh, he's alive? All right, because I know Ricky wasn't too happy, so I got to make sure Ray's all right. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Football Friday before the playoffs. 97.5 The Fanatic.